टीम की परफॉर्मेंस के पीछे एक इंसान होता है जो सबसे की रोल निभाता है, वो होता है कोच। और K9 के कोच हमारे साथ हैं। अमित भाई स्वागत है आपका, बहुत ही प्यारे सेगमेंट। थैंक यू बोला है। शुरुआत करेंगे, आपने भी बहुत सारे लाइनअप्स के अंदर कोच किया है, बट आखिरी में आपका जो दिल है वो ओमेगा के साथ ही लगता है। इसके पीछे कोई क्या रीजन, कोई पर्सनल रीजन है? क्या लगता है कि वही खिलाड़ी सबसे बढ़िया आपके साथ?
वही है, मतलब जिस पे इंसान ने शुरू से इतना टाइम दिया है तो उस पे उसके साथ काम करने में मज़ा ही आएगा और चीज़ें आसान भी होगी।
तो फिर आप मेडल में क्यों गए थे बीच में?
क्योंकि उस टाइम पे थोड़ा सा चीज़ें ऊपर नीचे चल रही थी कार्निवल गेमिंग में, तो उसकी वजह से।
आज आपने पहली बार थोड़ा मसालेदार जवाब दिया ना?
नहीं, ऐसे में देता रहता हूँ, पूछो आप।
चलो मुझे बताइए, लीग स्टेज के अंदर परफॉर्मेंस नहीं थी, मजा नहीं आया, K9 का जो नाम है, अचानक से क्या घुट्टी पिलाई प्लेयरों को कि परफॉर्मेंस आ गई सेमीफाइनल सब में?
लीग स्टेज के अंदर क्या था, किसी टीम के अंदर मतलब एलिमिनेट होने का डर नहीं था, फिर वो डर आया सेमीज में, प्लेऑफ्स में, तो उसके बाद हम तो वैसे ही खेल रहे हैं गेम, बस था कि बाकी टीम का गेम चेंज हो गया मेरे हिसाब से।
अभी फाइनल्स के वो 12 मैचेस हैं और एक आइडल शुरुआत नहीं मिली है, तो अमित भाई क्या बोलना चाहते हो? टीम कैसा करेगी, क्या चल रहा है माहौल अभी इस टीम के बीच में?
टीम अच्छा ही करेगी डेफिनेटली, अगर किसी टीम का डे 1 नहीं होता तो डे 2 डेफिनेटली होता है।
बट वो 18 गेम्स नहीं है, 12 गेम्स है अमित भाई, जल्दी जल्दी।
कोई नहीं, डे 1 नहीं होगा तो डे 2 और 3 तो होगा ही।
अमित भाई मैं बस दुआ करूंगा आपकी टीम अच्छा खेले, गुड लक। ये थे हमारे दुबे साहब, चलते हैं सेगमेंट की तरफ।
पर्दे के पीछे सेल फ्रॉम रेवेनेंट एक्स स्पार्क, टेक 1 शॉट 1।
नेगी साहब स्वागत है आपका।
धन्यवाद, कैसे हो आप?
सीजन 4 कैसा महसूस कर रहे हो आप?
काफी ज्यादा एक्साइटेड हूँ एंड नर्वस भी हूँ काफी।
लास्ट टाइम जो दबदबा था आपका वो एक्सो के टाइम पे था, उसके बाद लाइनअप्स काफी बदले आपने, बट परफॉर्मेंस हमेशा डगमगाती ही दिखी।
आई थिंक मुझे अच्छे प्लेयर्स मिल नहीं रहे, लेकिन ये जो लाइनअप है इस लाइनअप में मैं काफी कॉन्फिडेंट हूँ, क्योंकि जो 3 बंदे हैं उन्हें मैं दबा पा रहा हूँ। पिछले जितने भी लाइनअप के प्लेयर थे उन्हें दबदबा नहीं बना पा रहा था, क्योंकि थोड़े कोई एज में बड़ा था, कोई मैच्योर था, लेकिन आई थिंक इस लाइनअप के साथ वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं है एंड वी आर गुड टू गो।
मार्केट में हवा चल रही है कि सैफ और ट्रेस गॉड के कंधों पर ही टीम चल रही है, आप कैसे बैलेंस कर रहे हो इन चीजों को?
आई थिंक जो मार्केट में हवा चल रही है तभी हम उसे हवा बोल रहे हैं, क्योंकि वो फैक्ट्स नहीं है। मैं मानूंगा बहुत पहले ऐसा टाइम था जब एक्चुअली उनके कंधों पर चल रही थी, वो लोग काफी फिनिशेस निकाल रहे थे, लेकिन टाइम के साथ आई थिंक मैंने भी उनके साथ अडेप्ट काफी करा है। एंड जो हमारे अभी टीम में एडिशन हुआ फियर्स, एंड जो नया एक और एडिशन है फ्यूरी, आई थिंक अब ऐसा नहीं होने वाला। एंड मुझे लगता है कि यार जो नया जोन का मेटा है उसमें मोस्टली आईजेल का रोल रहता है, जोन दिलाना एंड फिनिशेस ऑब्वियसली निकालना, लेकिन ज्यादा उसमें जोन का है, क्योंकि जोन काफी दिक्कत दे रहा है अभी, तो मेरा उसी पे फोकस है। मेरा वही रहेगा कि जो मेरे असॉल्टर्स है वो गेम में ही मारे और मुझे कैरी करे।
आपने अभी काफी इवेंट्स खेले हैं पर परफॉर्मेंस अच्छी नहीं रही है, आप इसको कैसे रिबिल्ड करेंगे?
जो आपका कहना है कि परफॉर्मेंस सही नहीं है, मैं उस पर एग्री करूंगा, क्योंकि आप लोगों ने मुझे ऑलरेडी बहुत एक अच्छे लेवल पे खेलते हुए देखा है। मेरा यही कहना है कि अगर मैं सिर्फ अपनी टीम की बात करूं, अगर आप मेरी आंखों से देखो तो मुझे सिर्फ ग्रोथ दिखाई दे रही है, क्योंकि हमने बहुत टाइम साथ में स्पेंड करा है। हमारी सिनर्जी पहले से काफ़ी अच्छी है एंड हम बहुत ज़्यादा प्रिपेयर्ड है मेंटली, स्पेशली जो BGMS सीजन 4 है, क्योंकि आई थिंक ऐसा टूर्नामेंट साल में एक बार देखने को मिलता है जहाँ पे इतना बड़ा स्टेज रहता है हमारे पास अपने आपको प्रूव करने का।
अच्छा, आपकी एक कंटेंट क्रिएटर की छवि है, क्या आपको लगता है कि आपका इसमें काफी टाइम डाइवर्ट हो जाता है और कॉम्पिटिटिव प्रैक्टिस से ध्यान हट जाता है?
काफी अच्छा क्वेश्चन है, लेकिन मैं यही बोलूंगा कि यार देखो, मतलब ई स्पोर्ट जो है मेरा पैशन है, मैं इसलिए खेल रहा हूँ आज भी, भले मैं चाहूँ तो मतलब कंटेंट क्रिएशन में कम्प्लीटली घुस जाऊँ। ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग चाहते भी हैं, जो मेरे ओल्डेस्ट सपोर्टर हैं, अच्छे दोस्त हैं, वो भी ये बोलते हैं कि ई स्पोर्ट्स कब तक खेलेगा, जाके कंटेंट कर, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं वो है कि मेरा मन, मुझे पता है, मानेगा नहीं। जब मैं बाहर होता हूँ टूर्नामेंट से, मैं खाली बैठा हूँ, बिल्कुल टाइम नहीं जाता, मन ही नहीं करता मेरा कुछ और काम करने का। तो आई थिंक मैं ई स्पोर्ट्स के लिए बनाऊँ, और जब तक वो पैशन, वो जो क्रेज मेरे दिमाग में है, मैं ई स्पोर्ट्स से खेलता रहूँगा, कंटेंट तो चलता रहेगा।
कंटेंट क्रिएशन को तो आपने इंपॉर्टेंस दे रखी है, क्या आप इसे प्रायोरिटाइज करेंगे आगे चल के?
हाँ, मतलब देखो, अब मैं सच से कब तक छुपूं, लेकिन उम्र भी हो रही है मेरी, तो जल्दी मुझे छोड़ना पड़ सकता है ई स्पोर्ट्स, और जैसे खेल रहा हूँ शायद बहुत जल्दी, लेकिन मेरा यही रहेगा कि कंटेंट जो मैं कर रहा हूँ लोगों को पसंद आ रहा है, एंड आई थिंक उसमें मुझे ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगाना पड़ता, क्योंकि जो मैं हूँ मैं वही दिखाता हूँ, अपना ये मैच्योर वाला साइड नहीं दिखाता। तो आई थिंक जो दोस्तों के साथ फन वगैरह है वही सब मैं करता हूँ, लोगों को पसंद आता है। बाकी मैं उतना टाइम नहीं देता हूँ, मतलब कंटेंट को जब रात को मैं फ्री होता हूँ, जब मैं 12 से 8 अपने मैचेस खेल लेता हूँ, उसके बाद ही मैं स्ट्रीम वगैरह करता हूँ। बाकी ई स्पोर्ट्स नंबर 1।
आपको इस बार का चैलेंजर सीरीज का कॉन्सेप्ट कैसा लगा?
आई थिंक जिसने भी ये आइडिया करा कि 4 फीमेल टीम होनी चाहिए, उसे रेस तो बिल्कुल देना चाहिए, क्योंकि हमारे इसमें जो विमेन है उन्हें ई स्पोर्ट्स में उतना ग्रोथ नहीं मिलती या अपॉर्चुनिटीज नहीं मिलती, लेकिन अगर BGMS में देखेंगी वो कि उन्हें मिल रहा है, अपने फैमिली को बता सकते हैं कि हम लोग खेल रहे हैं। एंड आई थिंक वो कहीं ना कहीं ई स्पोर्ट्स में काफी हेल्प करेगा, क्योंकि अब तक ये मैन डोमिनेंट फील्ड रहा है।
अब तो ओजी ने भी ट्रॉफी उठा ली है, आपके हाथ में ट्रॉफी कब दिखेगी?
ये वैसे चुबा तो मैं खुश हूं उनके लिए, क्योंकि मैं चाहता था वो जीते, लेकिन जल्दी देखेगा यार। ये क्वेश्चन मुझे आप हर बार आके बोलते हो, इस बार मैं कुछ बोलना नहीं चाहता, लेकिन हाँ अगर ट्रॉफी नहीं मिले तो वाले कंटेंट बना रहा हूँ यार, लेकिन मैं करूंगा ट्रॉफी के लिए। देखो मेहनत मैं कर रहा हूँ, आज भी इसलिए हूँ क्योंकि मुझे ट्रॉफी जीतनी है, एंड करेंगे।
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर जॉइनिंग अस, गुड लक।
थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग मी गाइस, थैंक यू।
अब सीजन 4 का ग्रैंड फाइनल है, तो इंटरव्यू के अंदर भी कुछ अलग से होना चाहिए, हट के होना चाहिए। तो फिर से हमारे साथ हैं सिद्धांत जोशी साहब। सर स्वागत है।
थैंक यू।
सर शुरुआत करते हैं आसान सवाल से। लोगों ने आपको ट्रॉफी पगलू का टाइटल दे रखा है, अब आते हैं ट्रॉफी खुद आती है, क्या लगता है अभी हालात कैसी चल रही है टीम के?
यार ट्रॉफी लेने इधर आए हैं, दिल्ली जब भी आता हूँ ट्रॉफी लेके जाते हैं। हाँ थोड़ा सा डाउनफॉल चल रहा है, बट लास्ट टाइम भी मैंने वॉच अलॉन्ग किया था, तब हम लोग ट्रॉफी जीते थे। आई थिंक वील बी द फर्स्ट 3-पीट वाले प्लेयर्स हमारे पास होंगे, ऐसा मेरे को फीलिंग आ रहा है, तो लेट्स होप फॉर द बेस्ट।
अभी असली सवाल ये है कि आप डिफेंडिंग चैंपियंस भी हैं, तो एक अलग प्रेशर आता है, और टूर्नामेंट से कुछ दिन पहले ही आपका आइजल भी बदला था, तो माहौल बताइए, नकुल के नाजुक कंधों पे कितना बोझ है, टीम का क्या माहौल है, सब बताइए।
यार सबसे पहले तो देखो, नकुल हैज ऑलवेज बीन द प्लेयर वी डिपेंड ऑन इन एनी सिचुएशन, सो आई डोंट थिंक उस पर इतना प्रेशर आ रहा है, क्योंकि ये पोजीशन उसने मांग के लिया हम लोग से। ही आस्क्ड फॉर दिस, सो आई थिंक ही थ्राइव्स इन प्रेशर। और दूसरी बात बोलूँ तो यार ये चारों लोग दे प्ले फॉर अ बैनर कॉल टीम iQOO सोल, तो प्रेशर का कुछ सीन नहीं है यार, जीते हारे लाइफ डजंट चेंज मच, इट्स जस्ट दैट अच्छा लगेगा अगर ट्रॉफी लेके जाएंगे। तो बहुत टाइम से ड्राई चल रहा है हम लोग का ट्रॉफी कैबिनेट, बट आई थिंक दे आर प्लेइंग वेल एंड आई थिंक दे विल टेक इट होम दिस टाइम।
अभी थोड़ा गम महसूस नहीं हो रहा? ग्रैंड फाइनल्स है और आपको वॉच पार्टी का बादशाह भी बोलते हैं, आप यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं, लग रहा है कि यहीं पे कोई सेटअप हो जाए, ऑडियंस को फिर से सर्व कर दे सिर्फ जोशी का मसाला? नहीं,
मतलब ऐसा चीज़ है कि अगर नॉडविन में 100 एम्प्लॉयज काम करते तो 98 मेरे दोस्त है पुराने, तो मैं चाहता हूँ वो लोग भी थोड़ा कमाए, उनके भी घर पे रोटी आए, तो इसके लिए वॉच पार्टी में नहीं कर रहा हूँ। कैंडी से मैंने बात की, उन्होंने बोला था, बट मैं सोचा कि थोड़ा वॉचिंग मतलब
ये जो प्यार है हमारा हमेशा बरकरार रहे। थैंक यू सो मच सिड, बेस्ट ऑफ लक ब्रदर। कुछ फाइनल वर्ड्स अपनी टीम के लिए, बाकी लोगों के लिए, ऑडियंस के लिए?
रोक सको तो रोक लो।
ब्यूटीफुल, चलो सीधा सेगमेंट में चलते हैं।
Okay, so let's say you find this little number in a loot box. Before you slay the competition, slay the fit. Here, get ready with me. Press the power button on your Android to activate Gemini and ask for styling tips. How do I style this jacket for a casual look?
For a casual look, pair this jacket with jeans and a white, black or grey t-shirt. Complete the outfit with either boots for a rugged vibe or clean sneakers for a modern, relaxed feel.
Boom! Conquer coded outerwear. May you slay in style.
Only on Android.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Red Bull gives you wings.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
सेंसे ने ठाना है सीजन 4 में ट्रॉफी घर लेकर आना है। क्या बैटमैन और जोकर की टीम लिफ्ट करेगी बैक टू बैक टाइटल्स? क्या जस्टिन और डेल्टा की जोड़ी करेगी ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में धमाकेदार तोड़ फोड़? With a never say never attitude, NoNx है फिनाले के लिए तैयार। Watch BGMS Season 4 live on Jio Hotstar, Star Sports and Nodwin Gaming's YouTube channel daily from 5 PM onwards. जरा पास आना। ये वो बैटलफील्ड है जहां खून, पसीना और जुनून इस वीकेंड सब कुछ सिमट के एक ट्रॉफी में आने वाला है। स्वागत है आपका BGMS सीजन 4 2025 के ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में। एक कदम हम ऑलरेडी बढ़ा चुके हैं। डे 1 किसने सोचा था? जेली की टीम TR ने एक चिकन डिनर उठाया। फिर हमारे डिफेंडिंग चैंपियन जिनको पता है कि इस ट्रॉफी को जीतने के लिए क्या जद्दोजहद करनी होती है, iQOO सोल, उन्होंने उठाया दूसरा चिकन डिनर। लेकिन who would have thought that जिस टीम ने लीग फेज में हमें अंडरवेल्म किया वो सबको शॉक करेगी इन अ गुड वे। हम बात कर रहे हैं K9 की, जिन्होंने 2 बैक टू बैक चिकन डिनर्स उठा के टेबल के टॉप स्पॉट पर अपना कब्जा बना लिया है। उनके ठीक पीछे लेकिन डिफेंडिंग चैंपियन ताक में है कि वो उस पोजीशन को अपना बना सके, क्योंकि सिर्फ 1 पॉइंट का फासला है। अभी तो सिर्फ 1 दिन का काम हुआ है, 2 दिन का काम बचा हुआ है। सो दैट अ टीम कैन से कि ये BGMS सीजन 4 की ट्रॉफी हमारी है। कार्रवाई आगे बढ़ाने से पहले समथिंग रियली स्पेशल कमिंग ऑन योर स्क्रीन्स राइट नाउ। इट्स टाइम फॉर आवर ओपनिंग सेरेमनी।
The champion of BGMI Masters televised for the very first time, Global Esports. The winner of Season 2 is Gladiators Esports. The winner of the Season 3 is iQOO Soul.
History's been a testament. The day 2 has always been the day of comebacks, and today in the BGMS Season 4, we will witness some historic comebacks as well. Welcome to the BGMS Season 4 Grand Finals Day 2, and I'm going to be your host, Crore. John alongside with me on the panel is Phoenix. And Phoenix, we know what exactly happened yesterday. K9 Esports, Seoul doing extremely well, even True Rippers making sure that they were securing that one game for themselves. But what happened to teams like Global Esports and Hero Xtreme, Godlike, now slacking off in the overall standings?
Especially Team REVENANT X SPARK too, they're also slacking off, and they are struggling. I think so they just got a shock. Because, hey, the teams, we weren't expecting them. They're still here. And you know what? In all these teams, there's one thing is common. Nebula. Spoiling every single game for them. Be it REVENANT X SPARK or either it's Global Esports.
And you'll love to see that, right?
Yeah.
Nebula Esports is one of those teams that likes to play it a little bit aggressive. But yesterday, we did not see that real aggression coming in from Nebula Esports.
Yep.
In the power play, they were still quite silent, waiting for the right moment to strike. It's not the Nebula we know.
Yes.
Nebula, they just directly pounce on top of the opportunity the moment it presents itself. But today, we might just see an aggressive Nebula. Currently, they're in the mid-pack, so we know they can easily make a bounce back in the top half as well. It's not going to be tough for them. But a while ago, you also brought up REVENANT X SPARK. Now, this is where the real storyline begins. Because REVENANT X SPARK, especially Sensei, the man himself, it's been a while since this man has got his hands on any sort of trophy, and he's quite desperate.
And he certainly looks desperate in every single map. You can see the player cam every single time. He's so concentrating into the game, but unable to just perform well. What happened yesterday? We'll talk about that. The game started once again with every single time. The first map, it was Erangel, and it was a surprise for everyone else out there.
Exactly. Started off with quite a lot of mystery. We thought the game's not going to be aggressive, but the playing flat path and the circle played a mysterious thing at the start itself. Then we saw, of course, even God's Ring chime inside of the action, but True Rippers in the final few moments, they were truly ripping things apart. Later on, ended up eliminating the entirety of Nebula as well, and also spotted out the players of Genesis Esports, and unfortunately for Genesis, they did not even stand a chance, and True Rippers ended up securing that game.
But in the match 2, it was a full of surprise match, because REVENANT X SPARK Days got showcased some good dominance, but unfortunately got finished by the players of Sinewy Esports and Ninja. They eliminated, by the way, securing every single frag out there. And after that, K9 versus Genesis, K9 won that fight in the final circle. We saw what happened and how it ended. Soul with the chicken dinner and Joker with that look.
Seoul has been one of the most consistent teams yesterday, doing pretty good in the game 1, and of course a banger of performance in the game 2. But then we moved on towards the game 3, where things were quite dicey for Hero Xtreme Godlike. Getting eliminated off the rip by the hands of REVENANT X SPARK was definitely quite a massive stinger, but then in the final few moments we saw K9 Esports. Of course, them and their wrath, it was quite tough to handle for anyone in the lobby, and they ended up securing that chicken dinner as well.
And that was the start of the dominance from the players of Team OnePlus K9 in the match board itself. They continued that domination as well as the momentum, but in the first fight, Los Hermanos finished off Soul and Evil. Managed to just secure 3 frags from there. Eventually, it was iQOO Soul who initiated that fight, but it was Evil finishing off. Then TXT managed to shut down the players of Team True Rippers, who were looking in a hot shot form, but unfortunately got punished right there. G on the other side then thought that they will punish the players of Team VXT, but eventually it was Nebula. That's why OG weren't able to convert that chicken dinner. And once again, K9 got the best result for them.
K9 with a back-to-back chicken dinner. Now they've got the wind of the sails, and of course they're the table toppers, but not too far away from the defending champions. And speaking of the overall standings itself, they flash upon the screen. Soul is on the second spot with 52 points, and K9 Esports is on the first with 53.
Despite of the fact you got 2 chicken dinners in the bag, you still got only 1 point difference. The difference is you're unable to get more position points. After those 2 chicken dinners, you got only 6 position points in 2 games, and that is not a good number. But alongside that, you got medal with 33 points. What a good outcome for them. Orangutan bounced back in the top 5. Nebula, despite of the fact they are making sure they will deny every single team and still in the first pack. But look at that. 18, 18, 18, and 18. What a draw.
I guess the main difference between the first and the second spot is the bonus points, right?
Yeah.
Seoul has much more bonus points compared to the players of K9 Esports, and that's the only reason why Seoul is so close to K9 Esports in the overall pack. They're not too far away, and K9 Esports does not have a cushion to work with. That means today's day has to be a banger as well. They need to sustain that spot with the average rankings. But as we've got the latter half of the board now on the screen, Hero Xtreme Godlike, NoNx, Global Esports versus Dial, Los Hermanos. Quite a few surprising names over here.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you know what? To be honest, I would love to see how Global Esports will bounce back from this situation as well as Versatile Esports. Because, Ronnie was a part of this lineup, got a trophy, got a hold of that trophy. Global Esports Mania got also hold of that trophy. But if we talk about the TVS Raider MVP ranking, once again, the formula is going to be pretty interesting for all of you. 50% for finishes, 20% for the power play finish, and 30% for the finish contribution. And this is why you can see the MVP ranking. Venom got the highest MVP ranking because he did a 1v3 in the power play.
I mean, the MVP ranking, of course, it's quite spicy, right? As you mentioned, Venom, the only reason why the man is currently on top is because the man has had some individual brilliant moments. Then you also do see Legit, but he's quite far back in the MVP ranking. And all of this for what? This trophy right here. The TBS Raider Wicked Trophy, which is on your screen. This is what the players are fighting for, and this is what's on the line.
Yeah, this is certainly that beautiful trophy. Come on, every single player wanted. But we all know, right? MVP is going to be a different race. You know that you're fighting for that too. But that golden trophy, the BGMS title, that is what is the most important thing. But for now, would love to see how the other teams will bounce back, especially who are struggling.
Exactly. And speaking of the struggle, well, for now, we've got a quick interview lined up on the stage itself. So let's move on to the stage and see what they've got cooking.
Before I get down to asking questions, एक confession तो दे दूं, ये मेरा favorite color है. Because red is the color of passion, it's the color of emotion. और इस गाड़ी के साथ वो emotion जो है वो उमड़ के आता है. Of course, this brand needs no introduction. अब ये इंडिया में launch हो चुका है. This is Tesla. This is Model Y, जो वर्ल्ड की सबसे बेस्ट सेलिंग कार है. अगर आप इसकी टेस्ट ड्राइव लेना चाहते हैं तो टेस्ला के जो एक्सपीरियंस सेंटर्स हैं, एक है वर्ल्ड मार्क जो है एरो सिटी दिल्ली में, और दूसरा है बांद्रा कुर्ला कॉम्प्लेक्स जो है मुंबई में. और इसके साथ में अगर आप खरीद लेते हैं तो बॉस आप सुपर चार्ज कर सकते हैं 15 मिनट में 267 किलोमीटर. भाई भी आ चुके हैं, पंक भी आ चुका है, सेंसे भी आ चुका है. सो आई एम गोइंग टू स्टेप इन बिटवीन. और देखिए ये सारे नंबर्स जो मैंने आपको बताया ना, एक्चुअली द मैजिक नंबर इज 1. क्योंकि रेवेनेंट एक्स स्पार्क हमारे लीग फेज में नंबर 1 पे थी, गॉडलाइक हमारे सेमीफाइनल्स में नंबर 1 पे थी, लेकिन एक टाइम पे ये दोनों भी एक थे. अब रास्ते अलग हो गए हैं लेकिन मंजिल तो अब भी एक ही है, वो ट्रॉफी. गुड टू हैव यू पंक, गुड टू हैव यू सेंसे. भाई आपने नंबर 1 पे खत्म किया था लीग स्टेज, फिर आपको 4 दिन की छुट्टी मिली, मोमेंटम तो पूरा खराब हो गया.
हुआ तो है, लेकिन आई थिंक जो स्टार्टिंग के 2 गेम जिनमें हमने 0 पॉइंटर लिए उसमें हम थोड़ा सा अनलकी रह गए. बाकी जो गेम्स हमने काफ़ी डिसेंट खेले, बावजूद जो हमारे पास सामान था, हमारे पास व्हीकल्स नहीं थी, उसके हिसाब से हमने सही पॉइंट निकाल लिया. लेकिन नया दिन, नई शुरुआत, एंड आज हम रेडी है.
कमाल के व्हीकल के साथ खड़े हो तो शायद आज व्हीकल्स जो है आपको मिल भी जाए. पंक, सैनहॉक भाई बूट कैंप क्या गड़बड़ हो रही है, बिकॉज सैनहॉक इज सच एन इम्पोर्टेंट मैप. वो गेम बना भी सकता है और बिगाड़ भी सकता है. आज का सेकंड लास्ट मैप सैनहॉक, कल फाइनल्स के फाइनल डे के दिन सेकंड लास्ट मैप सैनहॉक.
देखो सैनहॉक में जो भी कुछ है वो चेंज तो होने वाला है नहीं. गलतियां हमारी एंड से हो रही है, सामने वाली टीम इतना कुछ खास परफॉर्म कर नहीं रही है. बाकी इस बार तो गलती नहीं होने दूंगा.
रेवेनेंट एक्स स्पार्क एक ऐसी टीम के सामने खड़ी जिन्होंने सेमीफाइनल नंबर 1 पे खत्म किया था. आप फिर आए फाइनल में. हमें याद है लीग फेज में जब भी वीकेंड आता था हमें लगता था कि ओहो रेवेनेंट एक्स स्पार्क तो तबाही मचाएगी. इस बार ऐसा लग रहा है कि वीकेंड पे तबाह हो रही है.
नहीं, एक्चुअली मुझे लगता है कि अभी पूरा टूर्नामेंट बाकी है, एंड अभी बहुत लोगों को गलत प्रूव करना है. उनमें से एक मेरे सामने खड़े हैं जो बोल रहे हैं कि बूट कैंप पे उतना कुछ हो नहीं रहा है. मैं बोल रहा हूँ आओ ट्राई करते हैं, और एट द एंड दोनों का गोल यही है कि ट्रॉफी जीतना है. तो बस मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ कि अभी बस शुरुआत है. आज का पूरा दिन है, कल का पूरा दिन है, देखते हैं एंड में कौन कहाँ पे स्टैंड करता है.
देख रहे हो जहाँ एक टाइम पे गहरी दोस्ती थी वो घाव जो है. एनीवे पंक, गॉडलाइक के साथ एक दिक्कत है, एंड अब ये जोक बन गया है. आपके सामने चिकन डिनर होता है, ऐसा लगता है कि बस अब चिकन डिनर आपका है, एंड देन आप वहां रास्ते से हट जाते हैं. आपको पता नहीं क्यों चिकन डिनर पसंद ही नहीं है.
अरे यार एक तो क्या बताऊं, लाइक थोड़ी जल्दबाजी हो जाती है कुछ लास्ट टाइम में. लाइक थोड़ा पेशेंस लेना होता है और हम हमारा सब्र खत्म कर देते हैं उस टाइम में. थोड़ा जल्दबाजी में थ्रो हो जाता है, बट इस बार नहीं होने देंगे. आज से
प्यार खत्म हो गया क्या? बिल्कुल
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं. आई थिंक सिर्फ ये पंख है या कोई और रहता, साथ में मेरा आंसर यही रहता है क्योंकि गेम बड़ा कम्पिटिटिव है एंड इतना बड़ा मंच है, तो यहाँ पे दोस्ती यारी छोड़ के हमें हम वॉरियर्स हैं.
यही तो जिंदगी है बॉस. जब आपको कुछ चाहिए होता है, स्पेशली अ ट्रॉफी, तो यारी दोस्ती रखेंगे आप साइड में. यू गोइंग टू बी कम्पिटिटिव. आज के सारे कम्पिटिटिव मैचेस 4 के 4 खेले जाएंगे OnePlus 13 पे. वी कमिंग बैक फॉर मैच 1 आफ्टर द ब्रेक.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Look, chat, I don't play games when it comes to gaming chairs. Take this one. Doesn't recline. Makes me want to... Wow. Good thing I have an Android. Watch Gemini save the day. This chair is squeaking and won't lean back. What's the fix?
To unlock the seat, pull the tilt lever located below it and adjust it to the desired position. To stop the squeaking, tighten the bolts and spray some lubricant on the joints.
Now this is the seat to beat. Okay, cats, time for some chicken dinners.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day for OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse-to-die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours. Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back after that short break. And yes, that trophy that you see on the screen is on the line for this BGMS Season 4. A while ago, it was mentioned by Serene, blood, sweat, and tears. Everything is accumulated in that trophy. Everyone's efforts put together. And that's what you get in the end of the Grand Finals. And of course, we know 60 lakh rupees will also be given on top to the winners, which is of course a lot of money. A while ago, we saw the schedule pop up on the screen. Once again, the same schedule will be repeated. We're going to kick things off on the map of Miramar, or on the map of Erangel, my bad. But hey, something that's quite important for you guys, it's going to be that you guys can watch the BGMS 2025 with the multicam feature for the first time, only on Jio Hotstar. You guys can watch the POV of K9 Esports, Orangutan, Hero Xtreme, Godlike, or even Soul.
What a perfect chance to learn from the best. And that's your way. Just hop onto Jio Hotstar and take a look how these players actually play. But if you're talking about playing versatile, they have to play, because for now, they are playing on the best device, OnePlus 13. You got the peak all-round gaming performance, you have the long-lasting battery, plus ultra-fast charging. You got the Aqua Touch 2.0, which is precise taps. Without, if you have the sweaty hands, it's the perfect device. But why you are aren't able to just provide us the perfect gameplay? Versatile, that's going to be the question.
Yeah, of course, that's the question, right? But I'm pretty sure a lot of those gamers that were just listening to that call out, majority of these things just flew over your head. But something that is important to you guys is that you will have the smoothest gaming experience out there on this device. So that's what matters the most, and that's what you will get on the OnePlus 13. Without wasting any more time, we straight up jump inside of the game as the plane's going to be in the sky, starting all the way from the southern side, which is Fairpier, towards the opposite side, so Severity. This plane flat path, once again, does seem quite balanced, so the teams can drop in wherever they want.
Once again, for the first time, I think so, I've seen this type of plane path, which is almost favoring everyone, dividing the map almost into two equal halves. Yeah, Milta, I think so. It's going to be a little bit far away from the plane path, but you can still glide. You can still drop down near the highway area itself and collect some vehicles and easily move towards that particular location. But once again, that's going to be a subjective conversation. But for now, if we talk about the momentum, we talk about the performance, OnePlus K9 being so good in the previous day, managed to at least rack up some good points and getting 2 chicken dinners. This could be Omega's time for that redemption.
It indeed can be. Genesis Esports now taking an exit towards Primarks and Crore. Then you've also got Phoenix Esports dropping around that Fairpier vicinity. Revenant X SPARK heading towards that farm side. In general, with all these teams dropping pretty much in their own peaceful designated spots, it tells me that we might not see a lot of scuffle happening off the rip. Revenant X SPARK and Hero Xtreme Godlike though, quite in the close proximity, there's a big chance we might see a scuffle between them. And I would love to see a fight happen, right? A while ago we had Sensei and Punk on the stage, and they exchanged a few words off the rip, right? Towards boot camp. But this time, maybe we might just have a fight brewing up towards Erangel in farms.
Would love to see if that happens. But look at this circle from the get-go. Yep, the plane path was favoring you, but not the circle. And once again, look at that. Which team is the circle is favoring? The team who got the chicken dinner in a row. And now Fury with that perfect shot. Jonathan has been dropped down. It all comes down to Edmino. He has to instantly retaliate back. He got a helmet and Uzi, one of the perfect weapon to fight in this close range. But you're completely unaware about one of the lad. And what a switch by Edmino! What a perfect stance. But once again, you are unable to fight back. And Revenant X SPARK shutting down the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike.
Sensei proving his words right. A while ago in the interview, Punk mentioned that boot camp squad empty. But now Sensei, the man's on the redemption arc. He punished Sensei. Of course, Punk was taken out as well. Hero Xtreme Godlike in quite a rough start. Gods, this man is right behind the tree. And of course, Revenant X SPARK just want to get their hands on the elimination points. But what? Maybe they would want to go back to that, right? And yes, they will.
This is going to be really important, right? You just left Trey so that he can just collect some more things. And now, Godzi, he got an escape plan. He got Punk, his IGL, to save him. And now he's running away. They are running away. But at what cost? From the start, from the right, from the get-go itself, Hero Xtreme Godlike, they got punished by the team who were struggling. It is none other than Revenant enjoying 4 points.
Yeah. And for Hero Xtreme Godlike, they lost out of the main playmakers, right? Jonathan and Edmino not in the game anymore. You've only got Punk and Gods. For a moment, I thought even Punk lost his life, but luckily enough, Punk is still in the game. Nebula Esports as well, kicking things off. And this is what you like to see from a banner like Nebula Esports, starting things off in quite the aggressive manner. Unfortunately for Seoul, losing a man to Nebula Esports, that's going to be a massive stinger.
And you lost one of your star fragger, Legend. He's out of the picture. How this team will work their way up, would love to see. Meanwhile, Godji, despite of the fact in the early stage they got punished, he still managed to take down some lads. Punk on their side, shutting down the players of Team Global Esports, and it's Hero Xtreme Godlike's time to fight back. Will they rush? Is this going to be a plan for Punk? That they will try to punch down the players of Global Esports. Yes, they are doing that. Necro, this is a ballsy move.
I'm not sure what the game plan's going to be for Global Esports, but Manda, even the man gets ran over. Hero Xtreme Godlike, they cannot make a lot of mistakes, but they already did. And they've been eliminated from the game completely. Hero Xtreme Godlike just getting 2 points from this game. It's such a bad start. That's gotta hurt. That's gonna hurt the fans as well. Hero Xtreme Godlike. Back-to-back bad games. That's pretty much the salt on top of the wounds in Global Esports. They're going to find themselves a bit of that stability now. Both the players are still knocked, but at least he can go back to safety grounds and maybe get the revival back up on the fallen comrades. A three-man squad is still good.
Whoa. What a start for them. What a start, and eventually what an end for the player of Hero Xtreme Godlike. Global Esports. They have to be careful because they are surrounded by the players of Team Phoenix. And look at that spread, by the way, by the players of Team Phoenix. Jatin is so far away from the pack. Archit and Goten sticking together. And Ash, he's also far away. And he might see the players of Global Esports. Yes, he is around the same vicinity where Global Esports players are hiding. But he's just collecting a lot of information. But hey, now the fans, the hopes, they are crushed. Yeah. 19 points, that's it. And now Global Esports, Phoenix, God's Range, Sinewy, NoNx, VXT and even LHS, if they get some good points, they can easily topple down Hero Xtreme Godlike and send them into the bottom position, 16th position.
I just love the way the game is kicked off so far.
Yeah.
Just imagine, right? This is pretty much like a dream storyline. Punk and Sensei, they had a chit-chat on the stage. In the interview, Punk mentioned that towards boot camp, things are looking quite vacant. But then Sensei mentioned, you know what? Why not? You come right next to us, and we'll see what happens. And well, we pretty much saw what happens in the first game itself. Sensei proving his words right, punishing the players of Hero Xtreme. Godlike before now. It's Infinix Esports that are getting punished. Phoenix losing out on Archit. That's not a good news. Now starting things off with just a 3-man squad. What happened there? Infinix Esports wanted to take the advantage off the hurt and beating down Global Esports. And they actually do. But losing out on Archit in that scuffle is definitely going to be a problem.
Global Esports got punished right away. Yes, you lost one of your lad, but Phoenix eventually securing those 6 points, and these are really important. Now look at that. Hero Xtreme Godlike, they had that 8th position for them and now dropped down to 10th. Worst possible start for them. Even Global Esports too. Both the teams got 19 points and that's it. Now they only got 3 more matches so that they can climb up the ladder. But the start, as you just mentioned, I loved it. Because teams, they were hungry for those fights. The next fight could be iQOO Soul versus Medal or probably Orangutan. You have to look out for that because the players of iQOO Soul, they are nearby the players of Team Medal.
They indeed are. Medal Esports. They're surrounded by a lot of teams, to be honest. There's also OG right next to Medal Esports. There's also Soul next to Medal Esports. There's also K9 Esports on the northern side. So Medal Esports is surrounded by a lot of teams. And the way the zone's forming out, it's quite interesting too. I'm not even sure where Medal Esports is firing at this point. Maybe just a few bait shots. But having a look at the replay on how exactly the action kicked off, this was Fury finding that first knock with just a mere pistol. And then later on, Admino was pushed up close and personal. Luckily enough, Admino was able to shut down that man up close. But still, the way REVENANT X SPARK played that trades game, they knew they had the advantage, and things were secured in the end.
And Punk, we didn't got any much of that space, and you can see the look. You can clearly see. And Jonathan is not happy. He's certainly not, because he was trying to enter inside that compound, but got punished right away. And Punk, a lot of the questions will be asked by the fans. Every single one of them. And Necro, this is not looking good. Meanwhile, Team Medal, I clearly don't like the split, though. Because Venom is so far away from everyone else. Aimbot, Termi, they are sticking together. That's a good plan. But now NoNx, they are also rotating. Sinewy, they're also moving towards the shooting area. And Necro, this is going to be an important point to hold. Yep. This is going to be an important place to hold. This is going to be an important place to be in. Although, Genesis versus Los Hermanos, they are too close to each other. And we all know, the more close they are, the chances of fight will increase. But Los Hermanos, wait a minute. That's instantly disengaging from the fight.
Oh my god. Look at the zone shift, though. Sineway's in the prime spot. They've got the smack center to play with. But I'm pretty sure Sineway's going to try to reposition themselves around a better spot now, because they know being in the center is also going to be a massive threat. You do not want to be the center of attraction as well. So Sinewy, let's see what sort of game plan now they're going to try to pave up. They do decide to fall back a little bit, deciding to play from the off-centric part, which makes a lot of sense as well. And just look at the teams on the southern side. There's a lot of teams still lingering around that part. You've got God's Reign, Infinix Esports, REVENANT X SPARK, Nebula, Genesis. 5 teams still all the way back in the blue, pretty far away from the zone. The moment these teams start to collapse around that circle, we will see a lot of action erupt.
Now Genesis already pinning down the players of OnePlus God's Reign. Delta lost his life. And that's a worse start once again for the players of Team God's Reign now. The second stage will start in just 1 second. And yes, you got 2 more minutes to move inside the circle. And now it just dropped down to only 3 players. Genesis Esports looking out for some more. Zap pretty much entrusted about his vicinity, expecting some more players. But I think so it's going to be clear entry for the players of Team Nebula, REVENANT X SPARK and Phoenix. Yes, they are opting for the late rotation, Necro. They can hold the edges for themselves and they can be in a safe spot. But this circle is meant for the players of OnePlus K9 Esports, right? They know every nick and corner about Sevoni. Yes, it's on the edge, but for now, you are aware about the northern side of the map, and AKOP, he found Venom, and that's the point I was mentioning, right? He was away, he was a bit far away from the pack, and he was out in an open, and that's why he got punished.
I told you, Medal Esports is surrounded by a lot of teams. And this was ought to happen anyways. For OG, since they've got all the 4 players still around the block, things are looking good for them. Scout OP, I'm not exactly sure what sort of game plan now Medal Esports are going to try to come up with. But whatever it is, they just need to play in tandem, that's it. Play together, stick together, and then try and come up with a game plan.
Top 5.
Scout trying to push towards his teammates. Mind you, Los Hermanos still around the block as well. They found themselves a decent spot to play with. It's not the best, but it's decent.
And now look at the players of Genesis and Phoenix. Genesis, they got the control of the Everest. And hey, Sinewy, they found the player, Termi, Metal. They're on the receiving edge. My Los Hermanos, they have got the control of the trenches, but it's not going to help. Somewhere else the fight is happening. We have to take a look at that. But for now, my Los Hermanos, they are looking solid.
They indeed are. Metal Esports right next to Sinewy. Having these two teams right next to each other in the close proximity is definitely quite unsettling, as Termi's knocked out, and that's a little bit problematic. But hey, you guys can spin and unlock the Nyx and Sinistra set starting at just 10 UC. It's a limited time offer, so do it right now. But back towards the game, Sinewy. They definitely do want to take a little bit of that dig against the players of Metal Esports.
But confirming that player, it's going to be a bit of a stretch for you. But, and as I just mentioned, right, Phoenix were pretty close to the players of Genesis, and that's why they lost one of their players. I don't know why, Necro. Alright, you eliminated the players of Global Esports. Yes, that's a good fight. But you lost one of your guys. Alright, happens. The retaliation, acceptable. But while rotating, you eventually could have just denied that fight. But eventually you engaged in that fight and lost one more player. And now Phoenix, they're moving towards the same location they were heading to. I don't know, that decision-making from Ash, it's not that solid. It didn't help them.
Yeah, it didn't. But Nebula, as of now, locking horns, maybe with the players of K9 Esports, potentially. For Nebula, it's a decent compound to be in. While K9 Esports, in the opposite spectrum.
Oh,
what is K9 going to do? One thing is for sure, K9 is going to be pinned in this spot. It's going to be tough for them to pull outside of this one. But the fact that there are a few knockouts happening around them, they can definitely take the advantage and maybe start punishing those teams. Utilities tossed out from NoNx, and these utilities are going to be more than enough. As Scout has been eliminated from the game as well. Probably wanted to get that rescue operation done for Termi, but it was impossible. Ended up finding himself in the hot water. And now Metal Esports slowly and steadily losing out on the man number.
And now it all comes down to aimbot. That's the final player from Metal left. All alone, on his own. I don't know how much long he can hold on, and it's looking pretty bad for the players of Metal. You were on the 5th spot, and now you can easily get toppled down by the other teams who are looking out for some more points, especially Nebula. They got 2 frags in the early stage, and they will look out for some more. God's Reign, they lost Delta by Zap from Genesis while they were rotating, and once again, oh, they are moving towards Genesis again, and they are pretty close to the players of Mighty Los Hermanos. But Mighty Los Hermanos, they are once again, they thought that they can pin down the players of Genesis, and yes, Evil about to do that. Look at Zap! Pretty low, but still surviving.
Yeah, man's out in the open, though. I highly doubt it's going to be surviving for too long. Zap's not going to stand a chance. Soon the players of IG Los Hermanos now starting to engulf the player. He's surrounded completely. There's no way Zap can make it out. And the man gets ran over and eliminated from the game. Genesis Esports, a bit of a rough patch they're going through in this game. IG Los Hermanos, definitely the Grim Reapers around this territory, not letting anyone breach in. Phoenix Esports right next to True Rippers, even that's a potential fight that might just happen. But IG Los Hermanos, they've got control of this terrain, and they're not going to let anyone breach in so far. Juthin spotted out in the open. There's also True Rippers right behind him. Things are getting quite precarious. Things are getting quite cautious now.
And they're not that far away. Mighty Los Hermanos, just 50 meters, that's it. And they will make it a run. Meanwhile, Juthin, yeah, he got spotted out, as I just mentioned. He was running out in an open, and that's why he got punished. Hunters on the other side, hitting those players pretty close to them. Genesis, Yash is the one finishing off Juthin, eliminating some more players, and that's the first frag for you. But you lost your IGL, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem for you. Neo on the other side got pinned by Aru, and they are taking a lot of damage off that blue. What is God's Reign doing? Yesterday you mentioned, whenever the zone forms towards the southern side, the military area, they, unable to confirm that chicken. But the circle is completely opposite, and the story is still same. God's Reign is still struggling.
Way too far away the zone is, and God's Reign is on the verge of being eliminated from this game, taking too much damage from the blue. They do not have enough mets to keep on tanking that damage up. Do have a few first aids, though. But what is the game plan going to be for God's Reign? Now they're rotating all the way back in the blue. And from the blue, where do they go? A while ago, they found themselves against the players of OG, and OG just completely chipped them off. God's Reign is redirecting themselves from that southern side and might just meet the players of REVENANT X SPARK soon.
Yeah.
And REVENANT X SPARK, one thing is for sure, they're not going to have any mercy on them. The moment they find the players of God's Reign, they will try and rip them apart. IG Los Hermanos still from this spot, trying to rain down as many bullets as they can, raining down death and destruction You've also got True Rippers right next to him. You've also got Sinewy in the close proximity. Yeah, the problem's really starting to stack up. Soul is moving from the northern side towards the left. So even Sineway's going to be pincered soon.
But I think so Team iQOO Soul, they can get pinned between two teams, True Rippers and Sinewy. Yes, Sinewy, it's going to be a problem until unless they fight head-on straight against the players of Team NoNx. That's going to be an interesting fight. But meanwhile, Orangutan making move against the players of REVENANT X SPARK. Aru dropped down from his vehicle, spots out another player. Fears it's going to be that guy. He had a grenade in his hands and now Westgard pinning down the whole squad. That's a different game you're playing.
Yeah.
Westgard losing out a lot of his HP, and what a knock by Trace. But one run over could do the job in Aru. Oh my god, what a knock that was.
OG doing some light work against the players of REVENANT X SPARK and Aru. Putting that final nail to the coffin. That's going to be OG eliminating the remnants of REVENANT X SPARK. REVENANT X SPARK could have had a solid game in this one, but they were not able to capitalize that well, and OG just better in the end. Dismantling the entirety of REVENANT X SPARK in the final few moments, but True Rippers, now they need to be cautious as well. Los Hermanos moving up close and personal in the close proximity, and Hirsch, he needs to place himself in a safer spot. Tossing out the smokes in order to extend a little bit more. He wants to find himself around the safety cushion. God's Reign getting eliminated from the game as well. That's another sad news.
By
A
OG!
lot of these big names, they're getting hampered. And because of that, they're not able to sustain the amount of damage that's being dished out against him.
No way, Negro. This is the inform OG. This is the OG we saw in the first week of the league stage. 8 finishes already. And they just lost one player, Westgard. One of the assaulter is out. But Aru, he took matter in his own hands. 4 finishes already in his back. AKOP. He's charging up. He's backing up. He's getting ready for all these fights. This is the brutalist, the brutal Orangutan. You have to be careful. Atanki on the other side spots out another player's iQOO Soul it is. An iQOO Soul Joker. Could be in a whole world of trouble. His smoke, it's dissipating. Meanwhile, Kalan, he should heal himself up, right? Why he's fighting? Why is he engaging in that fight?
Hirsch, backing towards the opening. Utilities, though, they're getting real up close. And Hirsch once again backs away. Wants to create as much distance as he can against the players of Los Hermanos. And now Hirsch will be safe. At least he's found himself that safety cushion. But how is Hirsch going to place himself in a decent spot? There's soon going to be the players of Los Hermanos pushing up as well. Around that same turf. And Hirsch will have to deal with the entirety of Los Hermanos. He's the only man standing. For OG, this can be a nuclear performance on the way. 8 finishes so far acquired.
Run over.
OG's on the verge of spamming out a massive game.
And that's the end for True Rippers. Hirsch, he got pinned down and got eliminated by the players of Los Hermanos. On the other side, Atanki spots out the players of Sinewy, making a move. AKOP. The spray could have been more perfect, and it was. Got another knock, and you have to deal with 2 more players. AKOP, the spray was not that good as we expected. Aru, once again, he has to fight. He has to bring that fight in his favor. Hiding behind that vehicle, making sure that the fight will go in his favor. But iQOO Soul, they chimed in, and that's a third party.
Yeah, but Soul, they unfortunately lost out a Goblin. That third party just completely flipped. The tables were flipped against him. They wanted to reap the benefits. They wanted to take the advantage, but instead found themselves on the receiving side. So they backed away. Soul's now going to try to play it passive. One thing is for sure, they've learned the lesson. OG's got 10 finishes so far. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And OG probably wants to couple this up with a few more placement points. If OG can continue this dominating run, this can be a massive game for them. But they've only got 2 men standing, and that's a problem. AKOP recently hasn't really been in form, but at least he's doing a great job in still filling his own shoes.
That's
OG,
what you want.
At this point in time, still trying to figure out what sort of a game plan to be executed. They haven't found themselves in a good spot in the zone yet. But Los Hermanos, they found themselves against the players of Genesis Esports. Utilities are being tossed right at point. The second man gets knocked out as well. Los Hermanos, they're not standing a single chance against Genesis. Hunters got pushed up real up close and personal. But still he was able to find that knock. Hunters is single-handedly dismantling the entirety of Los Hermanos. And if he wants, he can push up. But his teammate's going to do that job. Yes, up close and personal now against the entirety of Mighty Los Hermanos. And one bullet from that shotgun's going to seal the deal.
What a fight by Genesis. What a way they initiated that fight and how it ended favoring the players of Genesis. But now they have to be prepared for the players of NoNx being so silent throughout this whole game. And now they knew that this is going to be their time. Meanwhile, Nebula got punished by the players of VXT. Omega also stepping up and pinning down the players of NoNx. Genesis, they will get a time to breathe. They will get some time to patch themselves up. But Necro, as we all know, this circle is being controlled by one lad, Shadow himself. VXT, look at them. The amount of map control they have right now. Will the circle still favor them or not? That's going to be the question. But a lot of teams towards the western side. Anonymous checking his back spots out. Beast. Shadow on the other side got pinned by Ninja Boy. And that's a fight between the players of OnePlus K9 versus VXT.
K9 Esports losing out on Beast though. Man's knocked out, but not out yet completely. Still the man's in the race. NoNx is also one of those teams that can deliver a nuclear blow. And the moment they find that advantage, we all know NoNx is going to run away with that lead. So someone needs to stop NoNx from securing the game. The moment NoNx finds that win of the sails, we know what happens. Back-to-back chicken dinners will line up. That's what they did in the league stage. K9 Esports is the only team that can be the spanner in the works for NoNx. K9's got 0 elimination points so far. It's been quite a passive game for K9 so far. But you never know. In the final few moments, K9 might just erupt. Still, they're placing themselves in quite the passive factors.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why K9 Esports is not taking the charge. There aren't a lot of players right next to K9. And maybe that's one of the main reasons why K9 Esports does not really want to lead the pack. But what's going on with them? Omega was so exposed and almost was on the verge of being knocked out. But Slug is the one to get knocked out now.
And that's the problem now. A lot of grenades being tossed by the players of NoNx so that they can shut down the players of OnePlus K9. Slug has been confirmed by Ronnie, and that's a steal, by the way, from the players of VXT. Grenades being tossed. It has been shared. The utilities is sharing them, but not even a single knock yet. Meanwhile, Genesis making a move inside the circle. In all these fights, we saw, and we can clearly see, Sinewy and Orangutan, they are being silent, Necro. They are the silent killers. If they stay silent, they can easily get a lot of finishes. Hunters with the grenade. Oh, it works!
Oh, it's going to find a two-piece instantly. Hunter's one nade was able to disrupt the entirety of the NoNx, and even K9 Esports contributing a little bit to that. Oh, this chaos. It's definitely panning out pretty well for the side of Genesis Esports as they keep on wrapping up against the entirety of K9 now. There is Ninja Boy in the front. Omega was knocked out in the past, but that's it. K9 is not going to be able to sustain the entirety of Genesis for too long.
We have been questioning Genesis from the start, from the semi-finals itself, that where are they? And now they're proving that they are still one of the best. Shadow, you're lucky, you're a lucky lad, barely surviving on 1% of your HP. Sitting in his vehicle and now escaping his finish. He's escaping, he escaped that death, but Ronnie, look at his form. 5 finishes, Necro. 45 more seconds and then the circle will move. Orangutan, AKOP up against the players of Sinewy.
Yeah.
Aru making a move too. Aru, he needs to be careful, but AKOP with the grenade, will this work? Nah, it was a stun.
Ronnie still trapped though. But looking at the position they've got so far, VXT is the only team who can actually move pretty freely.
Yeah.
Yes, they do have the lower ground, so that's a different thing, but overall, VXT can definitely place themselves in quite the good spots as well if they start spreading themselves out. But so far, VXT's not doing so. There is Sarang, moving up close and personal against Aru. Aru with those smokes, he's given his position away already. Even the blue's going to be now on the move, and Ari's got nowhere to go. The man gets knocked out, and probably the confirmation's going to follow up soon as well. OG with a no chance to life. They cannot fight back anymore. And VXT, this has to be their game to lose. VXT's got all the 4 players standing. Genesis Esports, they've got 3 men standing. And Genesis Esports right now, they're going to be locking horns against Sinewy. That's the only team that possesses a maximum threat for Genesis. The moment they wipe out the entirety of Sinewy, even Genesis Esports can spread themselves out. But still, the backlines are going to be off the concern.
Hunters lobbed 3 grenades in a row and not even a single one connected. Makes that very, very not good use of utilities, but his M4 works. Hunters knocks down Ninja, and it all comes down to none other than the final at Vishu. And Sarang stealing that finish once again. Sinewy it's dropped down to only 1 lad. Eventually VXT, they are getting the circle, they are getting the control of the circle, but Ronnie, he needs to be careful, Necro. He's so far away.
Yeah.
If he's being careless, he will get punished.
VXT is just extending their fray, and I like that.
Perfect.
Getting as much control as they can, and VXT, they will nail that man down in the coffin as well. Nicely done from the side of Versatile, eliminating the players of Sinewy, and now it's time to shift your focus towards the players of Genesis Esports. Genesis already losing out on Yash. Versatile, they're dropping down the players of Genesis Esports like they're flies, and Ronnie sidelines was compromised, but it's fine. His teammates got his back. Hunter's taken down extremely low. Their vehicle's on the verge of being completely busted. Hunters, he needs to create some sort of distance. He does find that knock. He will get the confirmation too. What happened in Ninja John exiting out from that moving vehicle? He does get that +1 in the end, but VXT securing a solid chicken dinner. There's the reason why Day 2 is always supposed to be the day of comebacks, and Versatile already has started to mount that comeback.
Yeah, they came back and owned the show for now. Got the first chicken of the day. Erangel, it's for the players of Versatile, but what a try by the players of Genesis. It was Zap who started the fray, who started the frag best, got 2 frags, and then he got punished. But after that particular fight, Genesis, they never looked back. And Ronnie still making sure that they will communicate with his teammates. I think so. Team Versatile managed to get, what, 15 total frags? That's what I'm expecting. This could be a 25-pointer for them.
We'll find out soon when we have a look at the match rankings, but yes, it was a nuclear performance from Versatile. The way they placed themselves, they of course showed a few patience as well in the end. Waited for the right opportunity, and the moment it presented itself, Versatile struck. They struck so hard that no one even stood a single chance. Sinewy maybe was there trying to face off the players of Versatile, but they're also getting constantly hammered even by the likes of Genesis Esports from the back. And then in the end for Versatile, the way they spread themselves out, it worked like a charm. But for now, let's move on to the stage with a quick little interview.
वो कहानी ही क्या जिसमें कोई ट्विस्ट ना हो, लेकिन इससे पहले कि हम कहानी को आगे बढ़ाएं, सो गए थे क्या? कल के दिन सो गए थे कि आज जग गए हो?
हाँ, कल सो गए थे, आज जग गए.
What happened yesterday? क्योंकि by the way, Versatile challengers का रास्ता लेके आई है, and they were one of the favorites to win the challengers. और जब इन्होंने फाइनल में कदम रखा, the conversation was they always deserve to be in the Masters, but Shadow, yesterday was just a very terrible day. लेकिन आज ऐसा लग रहा है कि आप लोग अपनी नींद से जग चुके हैं, and finally you're showing your class.
कल तो वही था कि बेसिक मिस्टेक्स कर रहे थे हम बहुत सारे, तो आज नहीं किया, तो आज मैच अच्छा चला गया.
Sarang, Hunters, he hunts the lobby, and he's one of the most dangerous players out there. End में final battle में VXT के सामने Genesis ही थी at any given point of time. क्या आपको लगा कि यार ये बंदा जो इतना कमाल खेलता है, he could hunt us down?
कोई भी होता है, फर्क नहीं पड़ता है मैच में तो. और हम लोग इतना ज़्यादा मतलब एरिया कवर कर रखे थे, कोई भी होता हम इजीली वाइप कर देते उनको.
लेकिन सिर्फ एक चिकन डिनर से काम नहीं चलेगा. हम बार बार बोलते आ रहे हैं, दिस इज नॉट अ रेस, दिस इज अ मैराथन. आपने पहला मैच जीत लिया है, 3 more मैचेस टू कम. यू आर इन द गराज ऑफ द पॉइंट्स टेबल, हमारे लीडर बोर्ड पे. तो अब जो अगले 3 मैचेस हैं, आर यू गोइंग टू प्ले दिस अग्रेसिवली?
हाँ, ऐसे ही खेलेंगे जैसे खेला था पहला मैच.
बनी तो बनी, वरना आगे की लाइन आप जानते हैं. VXT पिकिंग अप द फर्स्ट चिकन डिनर ऑफ द डे. लेंगे ब्रेक एंड लौटेंगे वापस.
Okay, so let's say you find this little number in a loot box. Before you slay the competition, slay the fit. Here, get ready with me. Press the power button on your Android to activate Gemini and ask for styling tips. How do I style this jacket for a casual look?
For a casual look, pair this jacket with jeans and a white, black or grey t-shirt. Complete the outfit with either boots for a rugged vibe or clean sneakers for a modern, relaxed feel.
Boom! Conquer coded outerwear. May you slay in style.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards. Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Versatile already starting to mount that comeback in the overall standings. They're definitely looking quite formidable, but still the question lies, what about the teams on the latter half once again, right? We expected a lot more from teams like Global Esports. We expected a lot more even from the side of REVENANT X SPARK, even here Xtreme, Godlike, but those teams once again fumbled up.
To be honest, it's a bad start for them. Once again, because if you have a lot of expectations from these teams, in the first fight, we saw them struggling. And fun fact was, they're fighting against each other.
Exactly.
What will you get from fighting against each other eventually?
Look, the good thing was REVENANT X SPARK, they pretty much got away unscathed in that fight, right?
Yeah,
they got
that is
4
true.
points off the rip, so the advantage was with REVENANT X SPARK. But then later on, what exactly happened to them? They moved on towards their comfort zone, got the loot up as well, and then REVENANT X SPARK got eliminated with just those 4 points. After that, they were not even able to secure a single point.
The worst factor was, in that first particular fight, they had the advantage. They had the weapons. What if they didn't get the weapons? The fight would have favored the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike. And when you got all that utilities, everything, you just gifted that away. A lot of questions, man. A lot of questions to be honest.
Of course, mistakes were made from REVENANT X SPARK, even the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike, and Global Esports. They're just nowhere to be seen. Did you see Global Esports even for once in that game?
I saw them getting eliminated.
Okay, well, that's one way to put that. But yeah, the stars of the match, we have Hunters, of course, on top with 6 finishes. Then you've also got Starboy, Rexboy right there from Sinewy with 2 rescues, and even Adi coming in. Of course, the finisher. But at the end of the day, what matters is that you are able to close things out. For Versatile, yesterday's day was extremely bad. But today, they're once again catching the pace back up. I'm pretty sure the players went back to the hotel rooms, discussed what exactly is going wrong. And now today, they're once again back in that top-notch form. And this is what you like to see from a banner like that, right? At the end of the day, this entire lineup also won those 2 officials back-to-back.
Yes, that's the main point, right? They know how to work their way up. They know how to work alongside these problematic situations. And look at Sensei. Look at Sensei and Grace. They're just having that heated conversation. And Orangutan, by the way, they played surprisingly way better than you can expect. My Los Hermanos, Kalan, not happy. And we pointed that, right? You weren't healed up and you're still fighting. Kalan, you should have healed yourself first and then you should opt for a fight. And Genesis just utilized that in their favor.
I'm pretty sure for Los Hermanos, at that point, they just had too much on their plate, right? They had too many bullets upon themselves. They also had the players of Genesis Esports making it up close and personal. And I'm pretty sure Los Hermanos just panicked, did not exactly know what to do in that scenario, and crumbled under that scenario. But then you also had Genesis Esports in the final few moments just getting completely surrounded by Versatile, and Versatile having the man advantage. They used that perfectly well. I mentioned this too. Versatile has so much freedom to move around with, and they used that perfect opportunity to spread themselves out and get as much control as possible. Eliminating Sinewy gave them the maximum control.
The worst part was, in fact, I'll say the best part, eliminating Nebula. Because they could have been the worst threat, right? They called the best compound, they called the barn house, but they shut down the players of Nebula. And look at the point distribution. VXT getting 24, and now the Genesis, they got total 18 points. That's a 6 points difference. And then OG with 14. Then after that, from the 4th position, 9 points. That's it.
Look, still I would say 9 points is not bad, right? It's an average that you can have in the overall standings to keep your spot pinned down and maybe slowly and steadily move up as well. It's a decent average to have. 9 points per game is not bad. But generally speaking for VXT, this one game's now going to change the entire tide of the overall standings.
Certainly.
VXT is going to directly propel themselves somewhere around the top 5 if I'm not wrong.
Oh, if that's going to be a prediction, would love to see that, because on the 5th position it was middle, and from this particular match, how many points they got? 0. They got finished by every single team in the leaderboard. And
told you,
hey,
top
it was
five.
bang on, my G. What a perfect prediction. But hey, Genesis, they also got the similar amount of points. Orangutan still holding that top 3 position, despite of the fact they haven't secured a chicken dinner. They're still there. iQOO, Soul, and K9, the difference is still that 1 point. And this is a fun story between them.
OG's quite consistent, right? Getting 14 points in that game as well. OG had a lot of elimination points. I'm still waiting for AKOP to wake up. That's their main playmaker,
Plus
and as
point.
long as AKOP's not going to wake up, I'm pretty sure OG will keep on struggling. We will not see OG close things out that well and that easily. Now, the latter half of the board also pops up. You will see Nebula, Metal Esports, even REVENANT X SPARK a part of that on the 11th spot. Generally speaking, I expected much from REVENANT X SPARK looking at the start they had in that game. 4 points off the rip. They could have actually made it 6. There was also that one of the players from the side of Hero Xtreme, Godlike, pinned behind that tree if you saw. But
Godlike.
REVENANT X SPARK did not go for the advantage.
Yeah, I don't know why, despite of the fact you had S686, the double pump shotgun.
They
and
had
then
every right to
They
do
had
so.
everything. And eventually you had a vehicle. Come on, just opt for a run over, right? That's more easy.
The only possible thing I can think over there is that just because he does not really want to spoil Hero Xtreme Godlike's game completely, he sort of let that go. Maybe that's one of the main things. But a while ago in the interview, the man himself mentioned that, you know what, this is a competitive game. We should not let the friendship get over that. It's a competitive game. We need to perform. That's what matters. But hey, something that's going to help you perform in your English is also going to be the Duolingo English test, which is taken and, of course, accepted by 6,000 plus universities worldwide. So I'd recommend you guys to take it as well. But back towards the conversation that we're having, right? We'll continue that maybe after this short break. But for now, let's move on to a quick break. We'll be right back with the upcoming map.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12 gigabyte ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Look, chat, I don't play games when it comes to gaming chairs. Take this one. Doesn't recline. Makes me want to... Good thing I have an Android. Watch Gemini save the day. This chair is squeaking and won't lean back. What's the fix?
To unlock the seat, pull the tilt lever located below it and adjust it to the desired position. To stop the squeaking, tighten the bolts and spray some lubricant on the joints.
Now this is the seat to beat. Okay, cats, time for some chicken dinners.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Welcome back after that short break. Now that's a wicked upgrade. The TVS Radar iQOO brings segment's first GTT digital cluster with 85 plus connected features, best-in-class torque, and now 9 crazy colors. I would recommend you guys to check out the Deadpool and the Wolverine variant. It's one of the best variants out there. But back towards the main conversation that we're having, right?
Yeah.
Now, since we know we're going to head on towards the second game, and after the second game, 50% of the grand finals will be concluded, which means you will only have to rest 50% of the games to try and make a mark and prove yourself.
Can you imagine, Necro? It was one of the longest journey for every single one of them out there. For some players, it is certainly new. For some of the players, it's like a regular day every single year. They tend to enjoy this particular month. But as you just mentioned, 50% of the journey of this grand final field wrapped up in this particular map itself. A lot of the teams unable to show up. Godlike, Destro, one of the trophy matches, right? He had a conversation with Brad and said that documentary is too good. But where are they? The rotation, they are questionable. The moves they are making, those are questionable. And yes, he's a good friend of us, but come on, you have to work.
I mean, hey, but an important announcement for you guys. You guys can watch the BGMS 2025 with the multi-cam feature for the first time only on Geo Hotstar. You guys can watch those 4 teams that were there on the screen. And of course, you guys can watch them perform from their own POV. But back towards the conversation that we're having, right? Now, overall, with how the game's been shaping out, I generally do expect a lot more, once again, from a few more underrated banners, like maybe Infinix Esports. You can also say Los Hermanos, Nebula Esports, Sinewy as well. We know they've got it in them. It was not a bad game for Sinewy if you think about it. Squeezing yourself in the top 3 with a decent amount of elimination points. That was a decent game. And Sinewy, if they keep on running away with that same consistency, there's a chance they can slowly and steadily bring themselves out of that pickle.
And you just mentioned that point right away when we were talking about the match ranking, right? They managed to get 9 points, and that's the average you're expecting. If you're able to convert, at least 9 points per game, you will, hold your position. And one good game can easily throttle you up. So that could be a chance for Sinewy to just climb up the ladder. But for now, the power play is active. The second map is right in front of our eyes. The plane path starts from Puerto Palacio and heading towards the northwestern side of the map, towards Crore Park. Pretty decent plane path, to be honest. Al-Azhar, it could be quite away. La Trilla, Chumacera, it's still reachable. But from yesterday, I can see Nebula tend to drop near Partona, and that is not a good location for them. The circle is never forming towards that particular southern area, and I would love to see Nebula should move towards El Pozo, because that's the perfect hot drop for them.
I mean, Infinix Esports, man, dropping towards Puerto Paraíso, having massive spread. A few players also on the southern side of that Los Leones. You've also got Genesis Esports right next to you. The plane flat path a little bit away from Chumacera, so even for OG, it's going to be tough glide.
Yeah.
You've also got Sinewy maybe trying to push towards that Monte Nuevo. But we already do see one of the men from the side of Infinix Esports getting eliminated. What happened there? Godline's not there in the game anymore. It's such a bad start. REVENANT X SPARK, they kick things off once again. That's 2 points right there off the rip. But what happened to Infinix Esports? What are these rookie mistakes?
So they tend to drop near Impala, and now they understand that Godlike is going to be there in the server. So they are not going for that early fight. But guess what?
Oh, I know what happened. I know what happened.
It didn't happen. Yep. Tell me.
So Fierce dropped on top of the vehicle, and the same thing happened with Godin as well. He wanted to get his hands on the vehicle as well, but Fierce was the first man to sit inside of that vehicle, and he ran him over. That's pretty much what happened. And over here as well, the same thing is happening. It's the vehicle contention that's not really going their way. For Versatile, luckily enough, his teammates were right there around the block, so they saved the day for the man. But for Infinix Esports, yeah, that separation did not work out at all.
And now they lost one of their lad. On the other side, Ninja Boys still managed to shut down Shadow out and open the match. In the previous map, they got the control and they got the chicken. But hey, Ronnie, one of the star fragment from the previous map also got dropped out, and now it all comes down to Ninja Jord. What a way to start off things. Shadow, he might get played out and get eliminated. Oh no, VXT, this is not the way you start. This is not the way you play. You should be playing alongside the momentum, and now OnePlus K9. Yeah, these lads, they don't stop. #1 spot already.
K9 Esports, they want to punish the players of VXT even more. They're going for that revival as of now, but both the players are extremely hurt. The moment the player's back upon his feet is not going to have any sort of escape option available as of now. And there is Beast taking those shots. Sarang is way too out in the open. He's got nowhere to go. And VXT, there's Ronnie still behind that car, but eventually K9 Esports, it's the hunting crew that is hunting down the players of VXT one after one. And now K9 knows where the last man of VXT's position as well. That's going to be Ninja Jod in his position compromised. He cannot go anywhere. M249 in his hands. And Ninja Jod is now pinned in the corner. He's got a Molotov to play with, tosses out in the entrance. Now he's going to wait for someone to walk in towards the doorway in the back, but Ninja Shot's got nowhere to go. He's pinned, and he is completely eliminated. And there's Omega, of course, the man's jamming. Omega knows his team's already on top, and these 8 points are going to help him so much. Even if K9 Esports gets eliminated right here, right now, it's still a decent game.
No way, man. What was that? In fact, Ninja thought he was also smiling. He got that smirk on his face, and yeah, Omega, he was enjoying, as you just mentioned, right?
Ninja Shot knew he could not do anything in that position. He's so done. He did not even have a shotgun. Maybe shotgun could have given him maybe a 10% of hope for the clutch to actually come through.
But to be honest, after getting that chicken dinner, these were one of the most questionable decisions. Starting with out in an open, and oh my god, Goten. Yes, you were right.
It was the vehicle contention.
He thought he's someone else. He thought...
Look at his teammate Archit in the back. He's just gliding.
What a view, man.
He's watching his teammate get eliminated in a third-person perspective.
Bro, I'm
a proper drone view. If you're watching his POV... yeah, their POV is not available.
But the players record for themselves, so he can show me, hey, good, and you can see how you got finished. So
yeah, analyze.
But moving forward, we can clearly see K9 surpassing that 60-point mark, and by the end of the day, if K9 will secure 100 points, I think so they are done. I think so they're good to go. I think so they will be comfortable.
You sort of do have a point. But I would not say 100 points will be a done job yet.
All right.
I believe around 125. Since there is still the power play and mix.
That's a lot to ask.
No, it's not. If you're playing 18 games without a power play in the official, and if the cutoff, and if the champion team gets more than 160 points easily, then over here with the power play, it should be bare minimum with 12 games, should be around 125. Or maybe more.
Maybe more. Now that makes sense. All right, if you're expecting the teams are not fighting, I think so that's going to be a different excuse. You should approach, you should not look out for the opportunity. You should be the one who should create those opportunities. Yeah, I agree with the factor. But let's see if they be able to at least touch that triple-digit mark or not. Because OnePlus K9, you know that in the first zone, yes, they always accept those fights. But in the second and third, those, rotation zones, they tend to take the game slow. But if you're talking about taking things slow, look at iQOO so far away from the circle, so far away from everyone. They got the beautiful split and they are enjoying their time. Legit. He got the perfect loot. Look at this. Level 3 vest, a level 2 helmet, level 3 backpack. He got 2 first aid kits. In terms of booster, just 3 energy drinks and that's it. And you can see the player lounge, it's completely filled by fans.
Of course it is. People here to watch.
Osmium was right there.
Having a good time as well. Here to support their favorite teams and here to support their players. We'll see quite a few people even from the management side of things. So everyone's here to support their own team. It's just the day 2 though. Day 3 is where the real things will be spiced up. And we all know day 3 will be extremely chaotic. But Sinewy Esports as of now, just tapping away in the front. That's going to be the players of Los Hermanos. And for some reason, it feels like Los Hermanos, they're just lost in the grand finals.
They are.
Los Hermanos does not exactly know what sort of playstyle to carry out in the grand finals. A while ago, we saw Los Hermanos possess that aggressive playstyle in the semifinals, but now that playstyle is completely gone. They're trying to implement that passive playstyle, but it's just not working out for them.
Mook's on the other side, just trying to finish off things. Evil got knocked out, saw some retaliation, received a lot of damage, but Vishu with his marksman rifle, Mini 14, confirms that finish. Metal on the other side, getting close. Termi. In Necro, the problem is, in these type of fights, you know that you got the good control of the circle, but you have to be careful of your backlines, and that's what Metal can utilize. That's what Metal can easily
Oh my god,
get in their
Ninja.
favor. And Termi, come on, the spray has to be good.
Oh
no,
my god, no!
Bullet! Got in 4K.
That was hard to watch. That was difficult to watch. Termi knows he messed up and he instantly gets back in the vehicle and backs away.
He ran away, man.
Yeah, he does not want to be part of that fray anymore. He knows he messed up big time and he's probably not even speaking a single word. Yeah, look at his cam. He's not even saying a single word because he knows. If his teammates find out, maybe he can't be replaced. I'm just kidding. It's a joke, guys. Come on.
What if, Necro, somebody clips this out and in future after, maybe, you never know, in future, they were like, yeah, this
No, it's not going to be replaced. Let's be honest.
He's a perfect lad.
Yeah.
But let's see what this team will do in this particular match. That's the future we are looking forward to. Will they be able to get the chicken or not? But moving forward with the conversation itself, yes, Termite ran away, sticking together with his teammates. And look at the circle, Necro. iQOO Soul, one of the most fan-favorite team, still in the blue. Hero Xtreme Godlike taking things so slow that they are still in the blue.
That's been the main problem, right? A lot of these teams that like to rotate in late, they have been getting eliminated early. And it's not been working out at all for them.
Agree.
And even Global Esports, you mentioned this, right? Even Global Esports is rotating in late, and they will also be eliminated pretty much early. It's not working out, guys. Late game rotation is clearly not working out, and the only reason for that is because all the good spots are taken away by the teams early off. And if you're rotating in late, you need to adjust to the leftovers, which is not a good thing.
Yeah. That won't fill up your tummy. That won't, just help you to finish off most of the leaderboard and climb up the ladder. So you have to be really careful. But talking about that, getting a good part of the map, getting good space in the safe zone, Necro, the circle is close to Impala, where God's Reign tend to drop. And now the question once again arrives. You are in the center of the circle. God's Reign, you should get most of the finish point, and especially you should end up in the top 3. Will they be able to do that? Because every single time, whenever they get the circle, they tend to drop.
They indeed do tend to drop. OG with how they're playing. Even for them, let's see how the game plan's going to be. There's quite a few teams right in front of OG, and soon they're going to try and collide with them. Or maybe try and avoid that fight. Honestly speaking, it's not a good fight for OG. Trying to fight against that one team is also going to attract the different team. And that pretty much will create a third-party scenario. And you would want to avoid those type of scenarios, right? You need time to reset after each and every single fight, but the moment a third party happens, that time gets cancelled out. Which means you're messed up big time. You do not even have a time to patch yourself up. You do not even have time to get your fallen comrades back upon their feet. You instantly need to be prepared for a next engagement.
A lot of the teams should have a plan in their mind that how they will move inside the circle, how they will make sure the circle will favor them, because right now still 10% of the water area is inside the safe. Global Esports, yes, they found an edge of the safe zone, so as the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike, but they have to be prepared. The next fight I'm expecting is against the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike and Nebula. And Nebula, they are the most notorious team in the server, Necro. They never back down from any fight. And if you ever try to poke them, yep, they will take it seriously every single time. Let's see how the things will pan out eventually. iQOO Soul, they got the vehicles out, and now they are moving. Where the circle will form. OnePlus God's Reign in the Death Smack Center. REVENANT X SPARK taking some shots. You can't hear them, but we can clearly see in the minimap feed we got. And middle, they can get backstabbed by the players of Global Esports if that works. And oh, Joker, nice driving.
Definitely a chance. You've also got Infinix Esports in this Max Center next to God's Reign, and Infinix Esports in the next zone. They're going to find themselves on the edge around the southern side. God's Reign in the Smack Center. Luckily enough for God's Reign, this time not the late breachers anymore. This time quite the first. Finding themselves in the center, finding a good spot to play with as well. But now, since a lot of teams are going to start to attract towards that centric part, I want to see how God's Reign are going to play this one. Global Esports, too, starting to move on towards that centric area. For Global Esports, though, they still need to go through the players of Middle Esports, and that's where the real problem and the real struggle will begin. Seoul have found themselves a completely different territory. Maybe they need to take a fight against K9 Esports. That's going to be another concern.
Team iQOO Soul, yeah, that's going to be a concern that we might have to take a fight against the players of K9, but still the difference between them and K9, it's a bit far comparatively to the players of Hero Xtreme Core, like, yes. Meanwhile, Genesis, they're also gatekeeping for the players of Team True Rippers. Vice versa, by the way. It's Team True Rippers, by the way. Apologies for that. But Phoenix, they initiated a fight against the players of NoNx. That's happening on a different tangent of the map. A lot of grenades being shared. Kana, in fact, he got knocked out and shut in. That was not a way you should move. You were completely alone. And Viper, he tried, but he got finished off. Kalyug in a fight, won that 1v1, but completely unaware about his surroundings. And Archit finished off things in style, securing 3 finishes, and now he's the only lad. That's not a way you should initiate in a team fight.
Oh, man. At least for Infinix Esports, they were able to get away with those 3 elimination points, right? Yeah, but still a massive blunder in that one.
But it looks like a consolation. rather than a winning part, rather than a winning fight.
But here's the thing, right? Infinix Esports lost out in Golden quite early. So Infinix Esports only had 3 players to work with in this fight. At least they were able to survive with that one man, which is Archit. Yeah, of course it's not a lot of points given the position Infinix Esports is in. Infinix Esports needs a nuclear performance. They need to win if they want to stand a chance to make a comeback. But now with just one man standing, the possibilities of comeback in this map itself are impossible.
Not too good, not at all. And Punk on the other side, he spots out Slug, already finished off one of the lad from the players of K9. Punk receives some amount of damage. OG on the other side against the players of Genesis. And I thought Genesis might have a fight against the players of Team True Rippers, but they completely avoided that. But Neo confirmed the final lad of Phoenix, and that's the end. How many points you got? Only 3. They were in the top 8 before this whole day started, and now they are on that 10th spot. Orangutan expecting a close-nick counter, and they are clearing out this compound, utilizing a lot of those utilities, but Necro, not even a single player found in this compound.
True Rippers now on the right side of the map. You've also got Los Hermanos around that centric area. Revenant X SPARK 2 from the center. This can be a good game for Revenant X SPARK. This can be a start to a major comeback. Let's see, though. Revenant X SPARK is known to choke these type of scenarios, and I would not be surprised even if they do get eliminated right here, right now. Metal Esports,
what?
They're playing from the extremities. Even Soul, they're just trying and waiting for the right moment to strike. And there we go. They already do find that right moment. Waiting for a fight to erupt between Global Esports and Metal Esports. And the moment that happened, Soul pushed up and got that elimination point confirmed. Perfectly played. And since now Global Esports knows a completely different team has entered the fray, Global Esports is also going to try to back away from that fight now.
Smart moves. And that's what you should do right now. You are hungry for those points. You really need those points in your favor. And you have Soul acting smart too in that situation too. Opting for the third party, but still you haven't got the circle yet. Global Esports making sure that they will head on against the players of Team Metal. Mania throwing a lot of smokes so that he can create some space, some path for his teammates. Aimbot, he got a clear vision, but you are in a negative fight. You are not in a perfect fight, Viper. In fact, this is going to be an important fight. Veron completely charging in. Aimbot with a grenade of his own.
Oh my god.
No way! That was the worst grenade though! You finished off yourself. Eventually you got a knockout, but that's not a way you should play. Win him in a very weird fight. Again, it's always win him.
Yeah, he knocked himself out and also got a knock on the opponent. But as you mentioned, it's not a good thing at all. Venom, he jumps down in the molly. Now the man's literally on fire, taking a lot of damage as well from that burn. Backs away towards the house. He's waiting for the players of Global Esports to push out in the open, make a few mistakes, but that's not the case. Metal Esports, they're completely done. They're pincered, nowhere to go. Venom, he does pop that first aid. Oh, that slap from Venom was deadly, but in the end, Veron was pretty quick with his trigger, and he shuts down that last man from Metal Esports. It's done for them. But still, my focus was on Soul while all of this was going on, because Soul was supposed to be the opportunistic one and third party this. But instead, they focused on a better positioning, but they're too much in the open. I don't think it's going to pan out that well.
Yeah, I agree. If the circle moves away, and if you are on the edge, a lot of the teams can clearly check that edge of the save zone and clearly punish you down.
Sinewy.
And Sinewy is also moving. Mox is the only player, by the way, clearing a lot of confirmation, getting a lot of information for himself. Global Esports can also capitalize on that, but Necro, that fight, Metal, I don't know. They forgot how to initiate in that fight. Aimbot, that grenade was bad. Scout OP, I don't know how he got knocked out with the circle. It's closing in. The northern side being controlled by none other than Hero Xtreme Godlike. Yesterday we saw it was iQOO Soul versus the player of Hero Xtreme Godlike, and eventually Team iQOO Soul managed to get the chicken jelly. He got punished by Hunters. So the fight we were expecting against True Rippers and Genesis, it happened. And it is favoring the players of Genesis. 25 more seconds, and then the circle will move. And in all these fights, look at the players of Team God's Raid. They only got 2 frags.
True Rippers, 3 men still alive. Jelly's taken down and completely eliminated from the game. With these 3 players, True Rippers is definitely going to have a lot of that pressure upon themselves. It's not even a question. But 0 finishes racked up so far. That's a concern.
Oh, the circle.
True Rippers needs a lot of elimination points coupled up. Even if they do get eliminated over here, if they do have a few elimination points, it's not going to hurt that much. But True Rippers has been playing it passive throughout the entire game. They have been avoiding those fights, avoiding any sort of beef, which is okay. You've also got K9 Esports right next to Los Hermanos. But OG on the screens as of now as they're taking the shots against Genesis. Zap's vehicle, it flips out in the open, and Zap's got nowhere to go now. Out in the open, luckily enough, the man does find that Rich to play with, and that's going to be his home as of now. Yash pinned in the corner, Aru up close and personal. This Molotov, it's going to force the man out. And now Yash, he needs to go for the fight no matter what. Aru around the house, around the cover. His teammate's going to do the job no matter what, as I think he shuts down Yash.
And Genesis had no idea how to provide cover to that fallen comrade. And now you will move forward in this game with a lost man. Genesis, they are looking strong, but with the 3-man lineup now, left with only 3 players. You've done the same part against the players of Team Crore. Meanwhile, your Xtreme Godlike Jonathan, he got knocked out. Did he got finished? That's going to be my question though. But for now, Orangutan pushing in. Already too close. AKOP! You have to be careful because Hunters is it right in front of you. AKOP with the grenade. Not a perfect move. Hunters can find an opening. AKOP. This should work, and it will not. Dished out some damage, but not good.
The Apes are looking extremely confident, tossing out the utilities over and over again in the hopes of finding a knock. But Genesis Esports, even they're playing it quite brilliantly. Now backing away from this given spot. But unfortunately for Genesis Esports, the damage is already dealt. There's one man knocked out, and the entirety of Genesis, they will evaporate into thin air. It's True Ripper striking him down.
And that was their own grenade. And that's why you got knocked. What a way. No, it didn't help Gravity and Zap. Oh, friendly fire, by the way. Genesis got wrapped up instantly. Moving forward in the game itself. Orangutan, they just only got 2 frags in this fight, and True Rippers took that revenge. Meanwhile, Nebula, Kratos falls down. Harsh is getting a revival. And whoa! Hit Xtreme Godlike! They instantly barged into the players of Nebula, got a finish, and now Godsy backing off. What a way to play.
Yeah, but True Rippers, as of now, for them, the big threat's going to be OG. They're right around the corner. For OG, they control the entirety of that southern part. They've got a lot of control to play with. And if OG is going to be the cleanup crew, eliminate anyone that stands in their way, OG will be unstoppable. But Sinewy, as of now, taking those shots and fights against the players of Seoul. And this fight,
nice grenade.
It seems like for Sinewy, it's going to be one-sided. Seoul is completely pinned down. They've got nowhere to go. The utilities are also doing a lot of damage. Sinewy is trying to win this fight single-handedly. But is Seoul really going to let that happen? That's my question. Legit moves out in the open. He gets confirmed. That's going to be God's Reigns Delta getting that confirmation point.
Whoa.
I mentioned this a while ago as well. Seoul was too exposed. And look at Mox now. He's going to move up in tandem. He is collecting some information, some valuable intel. Gave a mark to his teammates. They knew exactly where to toss that nade. And now Seoul is getting absolutely dismantled. Motion Rex Boy moving in tandem. Goblin is right behind that vehicle. He does pop out. He's able to find the first knock in Goblin. How does he best both of them? Sinewy messed up big time. Goblin, this man might just be back in form. Goblin struck when his team needed him the most. He is here to save the entirety of Seoul.
But now he's surrounded by, from every single angle, Goblin needs to hide behind those vehicles. Spray God once again got knocked out. Global Esports, they're fighting against a different team. It's going to be REVENANT X SPARK unknowingly helping the players of iQOO. So Knuckle still hiding behind those haystacks. Goblin, come on, you need those smokes. Come on, you need to provide yourself some cover. That's going to be an important part. Goblin found some smokes. Adi on the other side expecting a player to fight back. Meanwhile, True Rippers now punishing the players of Team Nebula. It all comes down to Phoenix from Nebula. He's the only man. But Global Esports losing out. Veyron and Spray God. Adi and Man are trying to find an opening. They know where the player is, but not sure. Sinewy, for whom they are waiting. God's Reign. The gods collide. Which god will survive? That's going to be the question.
Here Xtreme Godlike against the players of God's Reign, and Delta falls down the first. Punk, what a way to kick things off inside of the fight. The shotgun up close and personal. It's going to shut down the man, but even God's Reign, they're replying back pretty strong. Eventually, God's Reign, they're on the verge of being completely eliminated from this game. There's still Neo in the front, and as long as Neo's alive, there's still a glimmer of hope. Hero Xtreme Godlike, somehow the tables are now flipped against him. They started things off in the advantage, but now here Xtreme Godlike is messed up. And Mino, the only man surviving in the outskirts. And the man's going to try to keep his position anonymous. There's also Phoenix from Nebula Esports. And he might just take a bit of that dig against Admino.
That slamming didn't work in Punk. He will lose out his own life. Neo understands where the player is. Admino, he's hiding behind those smokes, beside those smokes, but it won't help you. Hero Xtreme Godlike once again messed up big time, and the gods reign. They survive. They're looking strong, they're looking solid, and they are looking prepared. Can't say the same thing for Hero Xtreme Godlike and Nebula. Although it's going to be a crucial fight for Admino to survive for a bit long. Yesterday, he secured the second position for his teammates. Now, he has to do it again, Necro, in the same map.
He indeed needs to. But how did this happen? How did Hero Xtreme Godlike mess up? Even Admino gets found. Oh my god! This was probably one of the biggest mess-ups so far. Hero Xtreme started with the advantage. And then later on, the fight just did not really pan out the way they wanted it to. Somehow, God's Reign made a comeback in that fight. The tables were flipped. The script was flipped. Hero Xtreme Godlike got a reality check in that fight. But Soul, as of now, they're still alive with just a two-man squad. Goblin and Knuckle, the two players.
Still fighting, still staying alive. And you know what? K9, they already got eliminated. So this is the perfect time for the players of iQOO Soul to just climb up the ladder and secure that first position for the team. And that's where you make sure that you can easily move inside the circle. The circle moves away from them. REVENANT X SPARK, finally, they are in a good spot. They got the compound, you got the airdrop, you got the circle, you have everything. From here onwards, you should end up in the top 3. That's the bare minimum we are asking. The same from the players of Team God's Reign. Meanwhile, True Rippers, they're still there. Orangutan, they're still fighting Necro. And Los Hermanos, they're still surviving. So a lot of questions. A lot of the players from other teams, they're still there. Wishu.
Oh no,
his mini 14 works. Connected few, and that's it. But he got knocked out.
If he had M416, that could have been a knock right there. The only reason he wasn't able to trace it that well, it's because of the Mini 14. And that's why Knuckle is still alive. You gotta thank his stars. Soul, as of now, with just a two-man squad, I highly doubt they can do a lot. Top 8 teams surviving in this game, and Soul, especially Knuckle, he's out in the open. The man's got nowhere to go. He's trapped. Given the position the man has, he cannot really do a lot either. The Mini 14 has proven to be his demise. Vishu's knocked out. Ninja, the man's trying to play for the med strat. But we know the zone's going to be doing a lot of damage. It's impossible to sustain all of that damage with just the first aids. Soon he will need to move out in the open and reveal himself completely. I'm not sure what the game plan's going to be for Sinewy. Probably try and keep himself alive for as long as he can. Get as many placement points as he can. Soul there, quad exposed. Knuckles out in the open. He wants to cross the open terrain, but he gets stopped in return. But there's also Phoenix from Sinewy Esports, and now he's there to spoil the game for God's Reign. God's Reign shut down Soul, and maybe Phoenix might just be the one to shut down God's Reign. Ooh. Too many things happening back and forth, and Phoenix's utility utilization, it's been on point. Another nade tossed, and that's going to find a successful knock. How is Phoenix able to do this? Shuts down 2 players of God's Reign single-handedly. He's manhandling them. And Phoenix does not know. Phoenix still thinks that there is someone from God's Reign right there around the block, but there is no one there. Delta's trying to back away to safety.
But he needs to heal himself up. Still hugging the circle. He's still safe in Delta. Slowly and steadily crawling in. Neo provided a lot of cover. Look at the amount of smokes he has been utilizing that. Phoenix completely unaware about the circumstances. Completely unaware about the surroundings. But Vizgod out in the open, about to get knocked out by the players of Team True Rippers. But Hydro eventually, he got punished. REVENANT X SPARK fighting against the players of Team iQOO. Orangutan. And that's the end for Orangutan. One grenade did the job, and REVENANT X SPARK, they can instantly climb up the ladder. Necro, Los Hermanos, they're still surviving, and that's why they found the perfect opening, finishing off the players of Team True Rippers. Not even a single team from top 5, they are surviving. It's all about the later half of the pack, the later half of the leaderboard, and this is the perfect time to climb up.
Can be a game for REVENANT X SPARK. They needed a comeback, and they needed it desperately. And this game can be it. Nebula, though, this one-man Phoenix, it seems like he wants to take the entirety of God's Reign with him. He's going to move up, and that's going to be it. God's Reign's 3 players devoured by this one man from Nebula. Phoenix single-handedly dominating God's raid, shutting down those 3 players. This man's a Giga Chad. But Revenant X SPARK, oh, they've still got a lot on their plate. They first need to stop the players of Los Hermanos in their tracks. And that's going to be Shadow in front. Utilities tossed out, and that's going to do the damage. That's it for the team in the front. Los Hermanos eliminated from the game, and now it's just down to Phoenix. Revenant X SPARK, they've got all the 4 players standing, while Phoenix is the only man alive. And Revenant X SPARK knows it's a 1-on-4. That's why they're pushing him close and personal. They're getting real confident. Phoenix is getting pin served from all the directions. He cannot go anywhere. And Revenant X SPARK, a clean game secured for them.
But no celebration, not even a single smile. No matter what, you secure a chicken dinner without even a single loss, but you're still saying silent praise. And Sensei, just look at them. Eventually you got the fist bump. You have to appreciate the performance, but still no celebration because they know Necro. He was struggling, and as you just mentioned before this game even started, 50% of the grand finals wrapped up, but hey, we have to appreciate Phoenix. What a play by this lad. God's reign. Phoenix rose up from his own ashes and shuts down the gods.
Revenant X SPARK, what a methodical gameplay that was. Slow, steady, methodical, a perfect approach. They personified perfection. This is what you like to see from a team like Revenant X SPARK. And as I mentioned a while ago, now 50% of the grand finals are concluded. Revenant X SPARK did wake up late, but at least they woke up. There's still a bit of that chance for Revenant X SPARK to establish that comeback in the top 5. They need another massive game just like this, and Revenant X SPARK will be there on top of the board.
Look at the final frag, right? That one grenade was too close, but eventually it was traced. And let's head on to Serene and let's see who he got on stage.
कॉन्फिडेंट वाला लुक तो दो.
देखो क्या है ना कि मैं
इस तरीके से कल का दिन हमने देखा और जिस तरह आज के दिन की आपने शुरुआत की है, एक चिकन डिनर जो है वो हासिल किया है. मैन, ये टूर्नामेंट बहुत मुश्किल है यार. क्या बीतती है एक प्लेयर पे?
नहीं, मैं सच बोलूं मतलब हमारे लिए मुश्किल नहीं है. मैं झूठ नहीं कह रहा, हवाबाजी नहीं कर रहा, लेकिन मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि हम ना थोड़ा अनलकी रह गए थे. हाँ, पिछला गेम जो हमारा फर्स्ट था उसमें हम बहुत अच्छी पोजीशन ला सकते थे क्योंकि हम पे सबसे एडवांटेजियस जगह थी, पोजीशन थी, लेकिन हमने थोड़ा वहाँ पे ऊपर नीचे हो गया हमारे साथ. लेकिन कोई बात नहीं, हमने सोचा कि इस गेम में हम ओवर एक्सटेंड ना करें पिछले गेम की तरह, एंड रिजल्ट आया, एंड आगे भी यही मोमेंटम के साथ खेलने वाले हम लोग.
It was a perfect game, लेकिन एक टीम ऐसी भी है, LHS, लॉस हर्मानोस. ऐसा लगता है कि वो टीम जो है कफन बांध के चलती है. उनको नहीं फर्क पड़ता कि कितने बचे हुए हैं उनके, 2 बचे हैं, 3 बचे हैं. वो अग्रेसिव खेलते हैं और अगर एक प्लेयर जो है वो एलिमिनेट हो जाए तो वो और अग्रेसिव खेलते हैं. ऐसी टीम के सामने क्या रणनीति रहती है?
आई थिंक मतलब ऐसी टीमें हमें ज़्यादा बढ़िया लगती है क्योंकि वो बिना दिमाग लगाए ज़्यादा डिसीजन लेना प्रीफर करती है ओवर एग्रेशन के चक्कर में. तो हमारे लिए इजी टारगेट हो जाती है ऐसी टीम्स. और बाकी आई थिंक एग्रेशन तो हमें भी है, लेकिन बहुत कैलकुलेटेड एग्रेशन है. एंड बस बाकी मैं खुश हूँ जो है.
सेंसे, हमेशा हमेशा मजेदार बातें होती हैं रेवेनेंट एक्स स्पार्क के सेंसे के साथ. लेकिन साथ में ये टेस्ला दिन की शुरुआत की थी ये बता के दैट मॉडल वाई, द बेस्ट सेलिंग कार इन द वर्ल्ड, इज फाइनली आउट. आप टेस्ट ड्राइव ले सकते हैं एट अ टेस्ला एक्सपीरियंस सेंटर. आपको जाना है वर्ल्ड मार्क जो है एरो सिटी दिल्ली में और BKC इन मुंबई. और अगर आपने ये गाड़ी खरीद ली और आप सोच रहे हैं कि चार्ज का करेंगे तो सुपर चार्ज कर सकते हैं. 267 किलोमीटर सिर्फ 15 मिनट में एट अ टेस्ला सुपर चार्जिंग स्टेशन. विल सी यू ऑन द अदर साइड द नेक्स्ट मैच.
for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded, and a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Okay, so let's say you find this little number in a loot box. Before you slay the competition, slay the fit. Here, get ready with me. Press the power button on your Android to activate Gemini and ask for styling tips. How do I style this jacket for a casual look?
For a casual look, pair this jacket with jeans and a white, black or grey t-shirt. Complete the outfit with either boots for a rugged vibe or clean sneakers for a modern, relaxed feel.
Boom! Conquer coded outerwear. May you slay in style.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
beginning हमेशा नहीं था स्टार यूसी लेने से पहले सोचता था 100 बार डर था बड़ा स्कैम्स का डाउट से हजार तो प्ले ओपी आया तो लगाई नया पर तो मैंने लिया यूसी सेव गेम किया रेस प्ले मेरे साथ यहाँ ड्रॉप से कम हार्ड प्ले तेरे साथ ओपी तू भी कर ले स्टार्ट
Welcome back after that short break, and after watching such a magnificent performance from REVENANT X SPARK, one thing is for sure, now even that team is going to be another one of those teams to be in the race of that comeback. Yeah. But we still had a lot of expectations from a few more banners. Global Esports is also one of them. I'm going to keep on bringing it out there. I expect a lot more from Global Esports. Somewhere down the line, we knew REVENANT X SPARK is anyways going to make that comeback. But there are too many teams in the latter half of the board that we expect a lot from.
Exactly. In this particular game itself, most of the teams who were surviving was on the latter half of the leaderboard, right? Los Hermanos. But as the Sensei mentioned, right, they just clearly push. They don't think twice. And you know what? Rather than that's a statement, that is like he is questioning the way Los Hermanos play. He's questioning the decision the IGL tend to make. And to be honest, it's going to be a reality check for all those players, for all the supporters out there. Because you have to be crystal clear with your planning.
Of course, look, at this point for Los Hermanos, let's not take away the fact that it was still a decent game, right?
It is.
A top 3 with a decent bit of elimination points and, of course, the 5 placement points as well. That's going to add up to a decent game. But given the position that Los Hermanos is in, 16. They need an extraordinary game.
Certainly.
That's the thing. They need an outstanding performance. They need double digits on the board every single game now. And since we know 50% of the Grand Finals is already concluded, now the time's pretty much less. You've only got 2 games to prove yourself and make that comeback. If you miss out on that comeback, you're done for. But hey, the MVP of that previous game, it's going to be Neo from God's Raid, with 5 finishes racked up, and of course, majority of those finishes also came in from Hero Xtreme Godlike.
Yeah, they just slammed in and gave all the finishes to Neo, and he was certainly so prepared for all that, players, for all those movements, and eventually capitalize on that. Adi eventually get the best companion, and Fury with the final finish, gets 4 finishes in his favor. He got the finisher title too. But now, Necro, one point which I would love to talk about is Orangutan. They got completely dismantled. K9,
despite of the fact you got the first frags, you got the best start, you still end up on the receiving ends too early.
Generally speaking, I expected a lot more even from the side of Seoul, I'm not gonna lie.
I agree.
Seoul,
I agree.
given the position they had, at the start it was definitely quite skeptical, but later on they were able to survive for quite a long time. I expected a lot more coming in from Seoul in this particular game. Goblin was able to survive for a long time. He was able to shut down those two players of Sinewy, but then later on the conversion of the game wasn't too good. But Nebula Esports, just because of this one man, they managed to squeeze themselves in that top 2.
What a beautiful finish, by the way. The guy was legit jumping around, and not a crazy reaction. Usually we see Adi tend to, just say some words, exchange some words, look at the team who got eliminated. But this time, Nebula also understands, right? Like, they are not in a perfect spot. And hey, Fury, he's back in form, by the way.
But at least the good thing is that Nebula is getting the constant point flow, right? They're getting the average point. They're keeping themselves there in the overall tally. They're not doing too bad in any of the games. They're getting those consistent points. Even Godlike getting those 15 points. REVENANT X SPARK, of course, with the chicken dinner getting the most amount of points. That's going to be 21 points in total. Then you've also got Nebula right there with 9 points. Los Hermanos as well getting 9 points. K9 Esports, they got that early squad wipe in the power play. And then after that, they got eliminated. It's all good in the hood, though. 8 points is more than enough to keep yourself pinned down in that first spot.
And the next page, we can clearly see VXT, the previous match, they got the chicken in this particular map, 0 points, nothing whatsoever. Medal. Yeah, it's a bad day for them. In the previous 2 maps, they were just completely, unaware about the surroundings and getting finished by every single team out there in the server. But if you talk about the leaderboard, still iQOO Seoul on the 2nd spot and K9 Esports on the 1st spot. And now the lead is not that huge, but 4 points. It's still decent.
It still feels like anyone from the top 6, the moment they find a decent game, they're instantly going to propel themselves around the top 2. That's pretty much what it seems like. Even if Genesis Esports gets a chicken dinner with 20 points, they can easily be around that top 2 as well. So at least the top 6 is extremely close. But this is where the real concern begins. From 7th till 11th. Now, they're pretty far away from that top 2. Look at Versatile, just having 39 points. And here's the real question. What happened to Versatile? The first game was a chicken dinner. They had the momentum. And then instantly the second game, they dropped the ball.
And that is the problem, right? Because you should continue with the momentum. You got all your hands warmed up and you're completely with every single fight. But hey, we can't say the same thing for Global Esports and Hero Xtreme Godlike. They topped the chart in the semi-finals. They were on the 1st position. And now look at them. 15.
It's funny. It's really funny. And we know what exactly the problem is for these teams, right? They tend to breach in extremely late. That's the main concern. Global Esports breached in extremely late. We did see it on the map feed as well. The moment we saw the Stage 2 form or Stage 3 form, we had to talk about this, that these teams are so late to rotate inside of the circle. Even Global Esports, they were quite late. Hero Xtreme Godlike as well, they're trying to breach in from that another side. Then later on ended up taking a fight against God's Reign, and we know what exactly happened.
Yeah, I think so. You know what? That's my personal opinion, and I have to let this out in front of you and everyone else. As Punk mentioned on the stage, that they're just being so over-eager. If you know that you guys going so eager, if you're just being so less patient, you should work on that, and that will not help you. There's a thin line between confidence and overconfidence, and every single time when you're jumping from the confidence to that overconfident department, it's not working in your favor. I think so. A reset is important. Playing slow is not the answer, but a balance.
I've got a different opinion on this one, right?
All right.
I don't think they're eager enough. I don't think they're impatient enough. If they were impatient, they would have made it inside of the circle off the rip.
Okay.
They would have been the quickest one to make it inside of the circle. They're not eager enough.
All right.
That's what I personally think. They're not impatient enough. They need to be impatient now. They need to switch themselves outside of that comfort zone, push inside of the circle as soon as possible, because if you're going to go for that late game rotation, we know you have to adjust to whatever that's left over. But instead, if you're going to be the first to breach inside of that zone, that means you can stand a chance to have a good ground inside of the circle.
But you know what? This is going to be a lot of questions. But we got Anki bored with some questions with Robin. Let's see what he has in his back pocket.
स्वागत है आपका, लेकिन जो स्वागत है ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में गॉड्स रेन का, वो उतना ज्यादा बढ़िया नहीं रहा और ओवरऑल स्टैंडिंग्स में बॉटम 8 काफी ज्यादा पीछे आपकी टीम चल रही है. क्या लगता है, क्या कारण है उसके पीछे?
बेसिकली ऐसा हुआ है कि 2 गेम में एक हमारी साइड से मिस्टेक्स हुई है और वो गेम कन्वर्ट नहीं हुआ है. बाकी थोड़ा लक भी अभी साथ नहीं दिया. होपफुली मैं ये देख रहा हूँ कि अब अगर आधा इवेंट यहाँ से बाकी बचा है, ऑलमोस्ट आधा है, तो मैं वही सोच रहा हूँ अगर उसमें लक फेवर हुआ और हमने अगर कन्वर्ट किया तो रिजल्ट अच्छे आ सकते हैं. अभी भी
रॉबिन, एक टाइम था आपने बीजेएमएस की ट्रॉफी भी उठाई हुई है और वहां से जो टीम है उसका पूरा मोमेंटम शिफ्ट हुआ था. 4th प्लेयर की एक कमी, पहले भी जब आपसे बात हुई तो आपने कहा कि वो एक लैकिंग पार्ट लग रहा है. अभी आपको लगता है विद न्यू थिंग्स आर गोइंग गुड, आपको लगता है अभी भी उनको स्टेप अप करना बाकी है? व्हाट इज योर टेक ऑन दिस?
मेरा टेक तो इसमें यही है कि नियो है, वो जो हम मिसिंग पजल का पीस ढूंढे थे वो नियो है, बिल्कुल है। और इसमें हमारा बस मेरा तो मेन वही टेक है कि बस कुछ है चीज़ें हैं जो टीम के पेस के हिसाब से उसको सीखनी बाकी है, बस बहुत माइनर है और वो कर लेंगे हम लोग।
रॉबिन सा, एक फाइनल क्वेश्चन, जब भी टीम की नैया मझधार में फंसती है, रॉबिन सा प्लेइंग 4 में आते हैं और अपनी नैया को पार लगाते हैं, इस बार कुछ ऐसा हो सकता है?
नहीं, इस बार ऐसा नहीं होगा क्योंकि 12 गेम का ही फाइनल है, तो आप मेरे को नहीं देखेंगे उधर।
ठीक, चलिए, ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट फॉर द रिमेनिंग मैचेस। थैंक यू सो मच।
R is for RAM on roids. A 12 gigabyte ramped up, run on all engines upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Look, chat, I don't play games when it comes to gaming chairs. Take this one. Doesn't recline. Makes me want to... Good thing I have an Android. Watch Gemini save the day. This chair is squeaking and won't lean back. What's the fix?
To unlock the seat, pull the tilt lever located below it and adjust it to the desired position. To stop the squeaking, tighten the bolts and spray some lubricant on the joints.
Now this is the seat to beat. Okay, cats, time for some chicken dinners.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Welcome back everyone, you guys are watching OnePlus Android Battlegrounds Mobile India Master Series Grand Finals Day number 2 with 2 matches already over and only 2 games remain for the day. BXT took chicken dinner in the very first Erangel and after that it was a comeback game in Miramar for the players of RNTX. Joining on the desk is Scared yet with me for the next 2 games. And Scared, what's your anticipation from Sanhok?
Oh my god, Shadow, Sanhok is going to be such a great game right now, specifically for teams like VXT, because, I mean, first one, chicken dinner, yes, perfect. The second one of the first few eliminations from their side. So that is the big thing which we've been constantly talking about, how they have been shaking up. But since that, there's one team that's shaking up, there's one team that's finally bringing themselves back up.
Well, certainly RNTX in the map of Miramar was really important for them to stage a comeback, but it's really important for our audience also to get something. I'm talking about Google Play Store. You guys can spin and unlock the Nixon Sinister set starting at 10 UC. And coming back to Sensei, I think he also did realize that the performance which is coming in the league plays was not there in the Grand Finals. But finally, Miramar can be the stepping stone for RNTX. But speaking about K9, my oh my, the sort of consistency which K9 is bringing on the table, they are on the top of the leaderboard.
As of now, again, they were able to bring and steal that position away from Seoul yesterday. And then since then, they have kept that position up. And I think so that is pretty solid comparing it with all the other teams out here right now. That consistency is constantly kept up. Even on the map of Miramar, it was K9 who eliminated VXT. And that is something which they'll have to focus on in this game as well to get those early points, ladies and gentlemen, as it's going to be the map of Sanhok as the big bird hits the skies one more time on this map. Half of the matches are already over for the grand final, Shadow. It's going to be the second half that's going to begin now.
Yes, after the Sanhok, I think it's going to be pretty much clear that which teams can actually make it into the top 4 and which teams can pretty much draw the curtains out. But for now, the flight path is going to be really important because the flight path is going all the way from the side of Cow towards the side of Sami, going all the way from Painan.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, who exactly is going to take advantage of the power play? Are we once again going to see Hero Xtreme Godlike versus REVENANT X SPARK? And yes, my friend, this is happening once again.
It's not really stopping anytime soon out here on the map of Erangel. We saw that. And now on the map of Bootcamp out here. Again, we're going to see these two teams duke it out. Sanhok has been the grounds where both of them collide. And none of them come out unscathed. Right now, again, some shots being fired at Minnow as he tries to move out of the window. Up in front. That's where Fierce was as he obliterates Hero Xtreme Godlike. The lone man standing against all 4 of them. And he 1v4s all of them.
Exactly. Fierce getting all the 4 finishes and save the day for the team. Once again, REVENANT X SPARK make sure that they are the king of the boot camps. Hero Xtreme Godlike.
They're done for now.
Scared, I was mentioning this fact yesterday also and the start of the day. So many times that we have seen, just because of the rivalries, teams tend to lose their position. They don't qualify or they lose on to the top spot in the leaderboard. And it's high time that Hero Xtreme Godlike also do realize they really want to go for this rivalry or they want to focus on their own position in the leaderboard.
It's an ego challenge by now, Shadow. And Godlike are not giving up in that ego. But the big problem is that
then good luck in the leaderboard.
That's the whole point. Their gun skills are not on par with their ego at this point, and that is why they're constantly losing.
It's not just about the gun power. Sometimes it's about the RNG factor, luck factor. When you go for the drop clash, it can go either ways. The way the fight was initiated, it looked like it might go in the favor of Hero Xtreme Godlike because so many players were down from RNTX. But suddenly there was one single guy who stepped up. That's why I say, in a drop clash, it's always the luck factor also which gets involved. Not always your gun power.
And now, if you're really comparing it for Godlike and REVENANT X SPARK, Shadow, since the first few times it was RNTX who actually won, I think so now it's basically become their second habit to constantly win, and they've studied how Godlike likes to fight in those 4v4 fights, specifically when it comes to those drop clashes. And I think so that hard read is also helping their team out now. But on the other side of the spectrum, Nebula really needs someone else's help out here if they want to survive from Seoul. As this team also looks in to get those 8 finish points early on in the power play itself, right? Door being opened up, Legit wants to clear out some of the corners with that TPP, but he has no clue that there's a player on the right side of him. So that's something he's got to be careful about. If he moves in, he will be caught in that crossfire.
Now here's the thing. Nebula, in the overall ranking, they are, what, at 8th spot? iQOO Seoul on the second one. And if actually iQOO Seoul wins this fight for themselves and get those extra few finish points at the very start. But wait a second, a third party is ready. Global Esports takes on Knuckle from the side of iQOO Seoul. Although he's just knocked out, there is a chance of a rescue mission also coming in. But Global Esports, this third party can actually ruin the chances for iQOO Seoul and Genesis both.
Exactly the point that I mentioned out here right now, Shadow, that if Nebula wants to survive out here, then they would need someone else's help. And that help is now coming in the form of Global Esports, which you rightly mentioned. So that means the revival, it was already there. Now they're going to heal themselves back up as well. But the big thing is they would have to finish this fight quickly and cleanly. Otherwise, that is going to be a short-lived victory. Global Esports themselves are not doing that hot in the leaderboard itself, right? So any point from this point onwards, it's going to be a big support for them.
One of the major concern is we have a completely northern circle all the way towards the side of Hathen and Khao. Where VXT, they have the entire control of Hathen. This can actually be a really good game for the players of VXT. But speaking about Global Esports, yes, they came for the third party, but since they are not doing that great in the overall ranking, so they want to focus on their own play style. And for the survival at this point. And that could be the reason that Global Esports backed off from the third party. But speaking about this particular moment where RNTX went against the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike, Edmino was that guy who was able to bring down few numbers from the side of RNTX, but it was just one single individual. Fierce was on the rooftop. The moment he jumped off, Hero Xtreme Godlike was not aware about Fierce's position. They were anticipating him all the way towards the roof.
This is the big thing, Shadow, which I just noticed, that the coordination between the players was just not there. They had to do two things at once. The player who was around the door had to walk out of the door while Admino jumps out through the window. Had that been pulled off properly, Fierce would have only got one at maximum, and the trade would have been instant. But that was not done, and Fierce eventually got a 1v1. He found a walking Admino out through the window, and Admino could not even fire back at that point. And that was one of the biggest mistakes coming in for Godlike right now, as Joker on the other side though decides he is not going to make one. Quickly traditionaling 8-man, what a spray transfer. Phenomenal performance by Soul. Finally eliminating Nebula out here. Getting 4 points for themselves. They did lose Knuckle in the way. But I think so getting 8 points for one player, yeah, they're going to happily take it.
I think it's just panic kicking in among the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike. I'm just continuing the discussion which you were having, that there was a lack of synergy between the players. I don't think there was lack of synergy, it's just the panic kicking in. Since they are not doing that great in the overall ranking, but Nebula, even they have been eliminated, all thanks to the players of Team iQOO Soul. And now getting those 8 extra points at the very start of the game is definitely going to catapult the players of iQOO Soul.
Yeah.
Crore is also one of those teams who is doing really great in the overall ranking, but the previous 2 games didn't go entirely in the favor of Crore. Miramar, yes, they were maintaining the complete southern eastern control of the circle. But for now, RNTX, Trace got out in the open. And it is actually the players of Sinewy Esports catching him off guard. Instead not coming in, but Sensei is there to get the trade. If you notice, the trade game of REVENANT X SPARK has actually been improved so much.
I have to say, the individual game of Sensei itself has improved as well.
I think that improved at the very start of the year itself.
I agree, because before that, there were some problems, or at least there were some moments when we all talked about how Sensei was overextending, how he was unaware of the surroundings. And has been constantly improving that.
If you notice, at the very start of the year, there was a third-party tournament where Sensei in the grand finals not lost even a single individual 1v1 in the entire duration of 3 days.
I agree.
So, I think Sensei has started improving from the very start of 2025, and we can see that in the Master Series itself, that how REVENANT X SPARK is looking so promising. It's just not just one player, it's the entire team. But looking at the circle, even the players of Middle Esports are also looking at a very promising spot.
Talk about the circle as well, Shadow. Discuss something more with me right now. Phoenix Esports are also looking forward to convert this game into a big one for themselves. And they are pretty much spread out over towards the western fray. But they'll have a few things on their plate. And that would be to stop the teams down south of them, while also being aware of what's happening in front of them. That's towards the center of the circle. While also gatekeeping the teams who would want to hop in from Hathin. And that's VXT. I think so they've got their hands and legs on too many boats right now. We'll have to wait and see how that eventually pans out, because on the other side of the spectrum, right in front of them, that we were discussing about, is where REVENANT X SPARK is, and they are taking the fight against a couple of different teams. Mighty Los Hermanos taking the fight against them, while also the members of Sinewy Esports fighting on them. And it's not really helping them out. There's also the members of God's Reign up close and personal. So REVENANT X SPARK will have to play it smart. This entire circle is potentially going to finish in those urban areas on the map of Sanhok, when we know most of the compounds, Shadow, are just so open from every single front. They've got so many windows that you can't really be safe, and your backlines will always be watched.
The problem is, like you mentioned, REVENANT X SPARK is somewhere around the cluster. And that is what they have to keep... Oh no. Towards the bridge. We'll come back to the discussion of RNTX. But first we need to talk about the players of K9 and NoNx Esports. As Ninja Jod also doing a third party from the backlines. And NoNx, they have to cross over the bridge. One side it is the players of K9 Esports. The other side it is the players of Team VXT. This is actually a problematic situation for the players of K9 as well.
That's not happening right now, Shadow. NoNx ain't surviving out here. It's only Kaliug remaining, who has eventually dished out the entire fight and is running down south in the blue. And even if he decides to go all the way over towards the southern bridge and then cross over down south of boot camp and move up, I don't think so he'll have enough time or even the meds to pull that off. Plus, even if he decides to do that, there's also going to be Global Esports right up in front of him if something like that were to come to pass. K9 again out in the open as well, getting caught between a rock and a hard place. In front of them are the members of God's Reign. Behind them are the members of VXT. But Shadow, VXT themselves can't really keep this position up for long because the circle will move away from them. And then things are going to become difficult because if you try to move up in front, you'll have K9. If you try and move or take the rotation from north through the waterways, you'll have Phoenix watching you. So there's like every other front going to be gate kept for them. I think so they're overstaying their welcome right now.
Quick prediction. Looking at the circle, I want a quick prediction from your side. Who do you think is taking the map of Sanhok?
Phoenix. If they do not lose the members, Phoenix.
I think it's going to be OG or middle.
Let me try and find the members of OG in this entire cluster right now because
oh my god, they're right in front of you, next to the plus of Team Phoenix Esports.
I absolutely do agree out here. They're out in the open as well, but there's so many teams that will eventually face them off. I think so that's going to be a bit more difficult for them to try and survive out here. And the members of K9 as well facing the exact same difficulty. It's the members of VXT who eventually move up forward. K9 eliminated. I mentioned about them gatekeeping VXT. I was mentioning how it's going to be difficult for VXT, but none of that is happening right now.
VXT, the thing is, they came like a force and there was no time for the plus of K9 to retaliate or answer back because VXT came with such a force and velocity at this point. But 4 finishes at the very start of the game and also they have the complete southern control for themselves. But for now, we also have the plus of Genesis and True Rippers also going up against each other. Yeah. True Rippers, even they are in a promising spot in the leaderboard. Yolamau, nades being cooked, being exchanged, no connection at all. But finally, Yash gets one onto Kyo Lamau, one of the star players from the side of True Rippers. Yep. And look at Jelly. He's so far away from his teammates.
Just playing with a 1-3 split out here right now, and that split is not working for their team. Jelly instantly deleted, banned as well by Hunter. That's utter disrespect. Salt on top of the wounds. And Genesis, they're going to move up front. True Rippers now eventually scrambled out. Isolated duels will be offered. And all those utilities become even more important. But Shadow, the longer this fight goes, the more chances for a third party coming in from Seoul.
Highly possible. But the main question is, what was Jelly doing so far away from his teammates? In the entire situation, if you look at it, iQOO Seoul, there's two stand a great chance to convert this fight in their favor. Because True Rippers, they are pretty much going to be sandwiched. The only thing iQOO Seoul needs to make sure is that Legend stays alive. If Legend gets knocked out, iQOO Seoul will be reduced to only 2 members. And that's not a good news for them. But for now, Harsh going for a close frontal battle against the plus of Genesis. And finally takes Hunters down. But he's also on a very low HP. But the other player also on a very sliver of HP. From the backlines, Gravity also comes in, takes out one by one, everyone from the side of True Rippers. So that means Hydro, the last man standing.
Legit, just last inch of that HP is what really was there. But the Molotov should do the job. The first aid does not come in time. And the third party of Seoul, on the perfect moment, secures them some extra finish points as well. And this is what I was talking about. The longer that fight goes between True Rippers and Genesis, the more chances for a third party by Seoul. They picked up the perfect opportunity out here. While everything was happening, you know, Phoenix Esports as well, they were losing some of the positions because Medal were there to push them back. And one of the big reasons was because they were playing with a humongous split. Now that gives you the map control, but at the same time, it takes away your ability to take those fights head on. You would not want to lose your members out in the open. That just means that you are going to be rendered without the limbs. That exactly is what's happening with Sinewy. Not 1 but 2 fall. And it's the members of Apes who eventually strike while they're still in the crosshairs of REVENANT X SPARK.
VXT going up against the plus of Global Esports as well, trying to have that southern-western control of the circle, Veroni has been knocked out, and Global Esports, now they have the numbers advantage with 2 players down, and Veron with a nade also takes down Sarang. But Mane also answers back by getting Adi with a perfect nade connection. But VXT, they are slowly and steadily crumbling down as Mane is going for the revival towards Adi. Gets a confirmation. Wait a second.
What?
What? Wait. He was going for the rescue mission. He left it midway just to get the confirmation point onto a knock player. And there was no chance of Shadow being brought back into the game. But we also have got the situation between RNTX and Sinewy Esports, where Bishu is the only one remaining, and that too on a very low HP.
Yeah, it's going to be the time where he would want to get some healings back up, but it doesn't matter. The members of Los Hermanos as well, right behind them. You try and sit down, your head will be visible. You try and stand up, your body will be visible. It's turning disastrous for Sinewy, as they still try and stay alive along with the members of REVENANT X SPARK, as Stray Scott is bleeding to death. The floor wasn't lava though, it was fire, but this is the perfect nade coming in from Fierce. Gets another one down out there. Stray Scott will be finished off. But Sinewy, they're the ones who are on the back foot right now. It's only Rex Boy remaining. And I don't think so he's going to be able to save Vishu. Shadow was able to steal that one finish away. So Fierce is going to be pretty salty about it. But it's absolutely fine. At least REVENANT X SPARK are still surviving right now.
Salty is no longer with the REVENANT X SPARK, I think. You just said Salty and REVENANT X SPARK in the same sentence. I just continued it. Coming back to the game, Sinewy Esports, yes, the struggles are real because Rexboy is the only one remaining from the side of Sinewy Esports. But we also have got the plus of Los Hermanos, who need to make the rotation inside the circle. And seems like OG, MyG, RNTX. Stop giving me that look, man.
But the way how you just said that.
You can't make me laugh in between.
You laughed on your own, not on me though. But Sinewy eventually being taken down out here. Big problems coming in for them, Shadow. They're not looking pretty hot out there in the leaderboard. And the circle, it moves away from the members of OG. And now there are technically 2 major teams down south, or rather 3 if you talk about it. Xtreme, Los Hermanos, and OG.
Did I or did I not tell you that this is going to be a game for the players of Medal or Orangutan? And Orangutan, now they have the complete southern control. The only team which they need to deal with are the players of Los Hermanos. Infinix Esports, yes, Sanhok has never been a strong game for them because now they are giving individual fight to the players of NoNx Esports. By the way, NoNx Esports was left with only one last member, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, and Kalyug, he eventually destroys everyone from Phoenix. This could have been such a big game for Phoenix. They had every single thing. But it came down to those firefights and they lost there. Giving those individuals, as you rightly mentioned.
That's why I said Phoenix converting the game into a winner-winner chicken dinner, the chances are very less. They need to rectify on the mistakes which Phoenix has not been doing in the grand finals. They did in the semi-finals and the playoffs, but for now on the screens we have got the players of Team Orangutan going up against the players of God's Rain. Smokes being deployed, nades being exchanged, but no connection at all. God's Rain 3 players, but iQOO is so far away. Even Antaki has been knocked out. A single nade is going to mark an end for the remaining 2 players. OG were looking strong, but now it's God's Rain coming on the top, annihilating the entirety of Orangutan. And now if you look at it, the entire real estate control and circle control is with the players of Metal Esports.
The only problem that they can eventually face will be if Kalyug decides to fire on them and maybe spoil their game. Apart from that, it should be a medal game. We've always...
I told you long back.
I mean, if only your predictions were right for the league week as well.
They were.
They absolutely were not.
You never asked me.
Because every time you gave the prediction, that team was the first one to be eliminated.
It has never happened, by the way.
You accepted that thing on stream itself. But we'll talk about that.
No, that was a different conversation.
We'll talk about that in a while, as well as right now. Again, the main conversation is going to be between God's Rain and Medal. You've got Global Esports to take care of. 2 players out there. And eventually, Neo is the one. Fallen down out on his knees, as well as Manya. Eventually answered back out here. His helmet is entirely damaged, but his hands are pretty fiery. Those nades going out in perfection, and Medal have decided to third party this fight.
Best decision, because when the teams are wounded, this is the moment to strike. But be careful from the position of Justin, because Justin is still holding on to an off angle, and Medal is not anticipating that at all. Venom with a grenade takes Mania down from the side of Global Esports, and now Global Esports are also left with just one single man. That is going to be Adi. Aimbot and Venom playing in sync at this point, and a perfect grenade from the side of Adi also knocks down Venom. Aimbot, he has to go for the revival, but also needs to be a bit careful from Justin as well as Adi's utilities.
I absolutely agree right now. Adi's going to be pushed up though, so he's going to be fired upon by the members of God's Train as well. He'll not really have a lot of area to play around with. God's Train, they're going to be pushed up as well. Justin barely surviving by the skin of his teeth now, because he knocked out Termi out there. That is the reason why he can survive right now. But now since the circle has moved a bit north, this means Medal is going to have everything that they need. All they need to do is play back, play safe, not give the individuals your prediction standing up to perfection, Shadow.
It always is. It always is. Just like Adi is also so precise with his aim, taking down Destro and making sure Delta is the only one remaining at this point. Actually, Justin is also there, but he's so far away from Delta. So if a knock comes onto either of the players, chances of a revival are pretty less. In the meanwhile, Global Esports, now they have also been eliminated on the third spot. Two teams remaining, God's Train and Medal Esports, but Aimbot out in the open. Venom also gets taken down by the play zone. This should not have been allowed. What are you doing, Medal Esports?
It's a 1v2 right now as God's Rain. They turn the tides around. It's all just down to Scout. Can he eventually pull something off? Can he pull the rabbit out of the hat? Can he be the one? Can he stand up to his name and show us the former glory which he showed on multiple stages? Not just in this nation, but worldwide out there. It's going to be extremely difficult right now. The terrain super open, but the only thing working for him is the circle. The members of God's Train are outside of it, and it's an open ground right now. Scout eventually finding the first one though. Well, it's not really connecting. He's playing around this ridge perfectly because he's not getting fired by Justin. But finally, God's Train, they've decided to maybe duo up and take this fight together.
Scout, big blunders from the side of Medal Esports, I would say.
Throw. Straight up throw.
I'll make my statement after the game is over, but Scout, yes, it's still possible, a 1v2 situation right in front of him. But the way the players of God's Train are playing in tandem with each other, Scout, he doesn't have any throwable, no grenade, no smoke, no molotov, nothing at all. And also he has got a level 1 armor. That's also a bit of the problem at this point. And both the players of God's Train are on full HP. The blue will dish out damage first to Scout and then to the players of God's Train. So Circle is also giving advantage to the players of God's Train.
Should be in the line of fire right now by Delta. Delta, Justin, both of these players surviving right now. He still moves in a bit too close, but now the blue is going to push him away. This is the last part of the cover. Justin up in front, Delta up in front. Two of the most fiery players of God's Reign. And it's Scout, the man who paved the way of the BGMS scene out here in India. Can he stand up one more time out in the open, converts it into a 1v1, but Delta does the job well. And God's Reign rising up from the depths of hell and showing why they are the El Diablo of this tournament.
I think it was stage to Circle when I gave my prediction that Medal Esports or OG can take this one in their favor.
Yeah.
Medal, actually they served this winner chicken dinner on a silver platter to the players of God's Train. Nothing taken away from the side of God's Train because it was definitely a good game for them. The way they were getting those finish points, the way they were eliminating squad after squad, third party also which came in, they dealt with it pretty perfectly.
Yeah.
Yes, nothing taken away from the side of God's Train, but we have to complain about things which happened from the side of Medal Esports as well. Venom taken down by the blue zone, Aimbot out in the open. Within a few seconds, the entire team was evaporated from the game and it was only Scout OP remaining.
Such a disconnected push coming in from the entire team out there right now. And again, this is the same kind of impatience that we one day saw from Godlike all the way back in league stages, right? On the map of Erangel, if you remember, where they had the advantage, they had everything, and they kept on sending players out towards the blue to take one player down. it was the same kind of impatience from middle. They had everything. They had every single piece which was needed. But even after that, it was God's raid to steal it all away out there right now in the last 1v2. As we're having a look at the final blow as well. Scout tried his best, but the answer came in from the other side, and it's time for the members of God's Rain to answer some of the questions of Surain.
वैसे इंट्रोडक्शन की जरूरत नहीं है. Former champs, God's Rain. Destro, are you an egoistic guy?
Not really. बट गेम की बात आती है तो कह सकते हैं यस.
तो आपका ईगो जो है वो आपको क्या कह रहा था जब दिन की शुरुआत लीडर बोर्ड आपने देखा और आपने देखा यू गाइस आर राइट एट द बॉटम ऑन 16?
मतलब ऑनेस्टली फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. कल के बाद भी जब हम वापस गए थे तो माइंडसेट ये था कल नया दिन होगा, हमारे लिए 8 मैच का इवेंट होगा, फिर अब वो 8 में फर्स्ट आना है. वही माइंडसेट अभी भी है.
स्लोली एंड स्टेडली आपने क्लाइंब किया है. इसके पहले आप 10th स्पॉट पे थे. हमें कॉन्फर्मेशन मिलेगी अब आप लीडर बोर्ड पे कहाँ हैं. डेस्ट्रो, बट जब स्काउट जैसा बंदा 1v2 सिचुएशन में हो और उसने ऑलमोस्ट जस्टिन और डेल्टा में से एक को तो खत्म कर दिया था, एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम क्या लगा कि ये फिसल ना जाए हमारे हाथ से?
नहीं, मतलब एडवांटेज पे हम ही थे तो मेरे को पता था ट्रेड पे हम जीत ही जाएंगे वो फाइट.
6th spot is now yours. अभी भी मैचेस बचे हुए हैं. आज का एक मैच और बचा है. And then of course you got 4 matches coming tomorrow. अब यहाँ से how tough does it get? Do you continue doing the same things? क्योंकि बाकी टीम्स भी पॉइंट्स इकट्ठा करेंगी. We feel that this is going to go right down to the wire.
Of course लास्ट गेम तक ही बात जाने वाली है एंड हमारा भी वही ट्राई है कि हम कंटेंशन में रहे. हमारा स्टार्ट अच्छा नहीं होता आज का, बट वही हम चाहते हैं हम फिनिश अच्छा करें.
One of the coolest cats in this game, Destro. God's Rain picking up chicken dinner. आज के तीसरे यानी कि 7वें मैच में. One more to go on the other side of the break.
Okay, so let's say you find this little number in a loot box. Before you slay the competition, slay the fit. Here, get ready with me. Press the power button on your Android to activate Gemini and ask for styling tips. How do I style this jacket for a casual look?
For a casual look, pair this jacket with jeans and a white, black or grey t-shirt. Complete the outfit with either boots for a rugged vibe or clean sneakers for a modern, relaxed feel.
Boom! Conquer coded outerwear. May you slay in style.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Join Google Play Points, the loyalty program that offers you exciting benefits. Now earn points on every purchase. Play more. Level up to gold and platinum. And unlock exclusive rewards.
Welcome back, everyone. You guys are watching OnePlus Android Battlegrounds Mobile India Master Series Season 4 Grand Finals Day number 2 and Godlike taking a big winner chicken dinner in the map of Sanhok. But also we need to mention about the fact that Middle Esports, big blunders coming in from their side.
Threw it all away. That's what I'm going to say right now. Served it all to the members of Godlike in a silver platter. I'm pretty sure if they were using those OnePlus devices out there, maybe things would have been different, right? And you people can also pick up some OnePlus devices out there. You know, the festive sale starts at midnight of the 22nd of September. Do not miss out on any of that. Go to oneplus.in and click on notify me to make sure that you are going to get that notification for that sale out here. Now, bringing the conversation back out, yes, I absolutely agree. Godlike performed phenomenally well. They even took the members of OG, right? It was one of your prediction as well that OG is going to be a team that might actually win it all out. Now, the big thing is Godlike took them down and then took the fight against the members of Middle as well. That when Global Esports were there, man, that trifecta was blowing my mind.
Yeah, and Justin also holding on to that off angle was also a very crucial fact in that particular fight. But let's have a look at the MVP, and it has to be fierce because this guy did a 1v4 at the very start of the game. 5 finishes towards him, 71% finish contribution. So that means not overall too many finishes has been accumulated by the players of RNT, but still a good game coming in. And also we have to mention this fact, is the rivalry healthy for the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike?
Absolutely not. It's one of that toxic relationship which they really need to get out from right now because REVENANT X SPARK are getting every single thing from that. And you mentioned about those 5 finishes, 4 of them were eventually in the power play.
Yeah.
That means 8 points being gifted to the members of REVENANT X SPARK by the sides of Godlike, and it's not really good for them right now.
Stolen?
I'd have to say gifted right now at
not
this
even
point.
Stolen, earned.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It is earned by RNTX, no doubt about that. But drop classes have never been the strength of Godlike.
Like you said, it has boiled down to the ego. At the very start of the day also, during the interview, Punk did mention that yes, we are coming in the boot camp.
I don't think so they should continue on this road right now if they really want to stand a chance at lifting the trophy. But if they still want to go for it, be my guest. I'm absolutely on for some early action.
Doesn't matter what you, I or whoever other us think. What it matters the most is what Punk and the analyst of Godlike, Hero Xtreme Godlike thinks.
Out here, I'll tell you one straight thing, Shadow. More than 100,000 people want to see Godlike lift the trophy. And that is not the path to lift that up. But this definitely is the path for Godlike to make their way up in the top 5 itself. Getting 20 points with 10 finish points and 10 position points as well. Global Esports falling up next, 13 points for them. Again, getting those 5 placement points, that was pretty crucial. But I'd have to say, Medal definitely did throw it all up.
It was not really a very aggressive game also for the players of Middle Esports because they were from the very start all the way towards the northern side of the circle, and the circle was also taking the northern shift. They didn't have to make too many rotations, but decent points, not enough to be in the top 4 even for the players of VXT. This was not really a very great game. Just 4 finish points for themselves. True Rippers, slowly they are also fizzling out in the leaderboard. 3 points in this one. Genesis with just 3 points. Phoenix Esports, they rose from the ashes, but seems like now once again they're going down.
It seems like they haven't been rising in the correct direction from the ashes. It's been burrowing them deep out there. As we have a look at the leaderboard, 70 points for Seoul. Eventually propelling themselves all the way back up. Top 3 now. K9 and REVENANT X SPARK on 2nd and 3rd with 65 and 56 points respectively. So anyone can contest that, falling up with OG with 56 points as well.
If iQOO Seoul drops a 30 bomber, they'll touch the mark of 100. I'm just talking about the fact that the point difference between iQOO Seoul and the second spot is on just 5 points.
Yeah.
But the point difference between iQOO Seoul and the team sitting on the 3rd spot is a bit higher. And if iQOO Seoul do accumulate more points in the upcoming next Erangel, the buffer will increase a lot and the chances of comeback will become very less.
I agree with the point that you mentioned right now.
Have to.
Yeah, because it's 14-point difference that is between the members of Seoul and REVENANT X SPARK, also OG. So yes, OG and RNTX cannot drop the game. No way in this situation can they drop that chance up. Like you people, you cannot drop the chance up for the 99 rupee coupon of Swiggy right now. Quickly grab your Swiggy coupons on the Swiggy 99 store. Now, I'm going to grab your attention towards Suren because he's got some interview.
स्पाइसी इंटरव्यू वही बोला जा रहा है. आई डोंट नो हाउ स्पाइसी दिस इज गोइंग टू बी बिकॉज मेरे को नहीं पता है कि अभी हाउ स्काउट इज फीलिंग. स्काउट ये गेम जो है वो हर खिलाड़ी को मौका देता है where you can write your name in bold letters. You can go for glory. आपके पास वो मौका था 1v2. If you had done the job, तो लोग जो हैं उस मैच को, उस परफॉर्मेंस को सालों दर साल दोहराते रहते, बात करते रहते, हताश हैं, निराश हैं with how that went.
इंडिविजुअल ब्रिलियंस से ज़्यादा मेरे को ये है कि हम लोग के जो 6 पॉइंट जो मिस आउट हो गए, तो हम लोग पॉइंट टेबल्स में हम लोग ने जो आज पहले 2 गेम में 0 पॉइंटर्स निकाले, उसको कवर अप करना था. मेन ब्लंडर वही हो गया. 1v2 चलो तो होता रहता है, बट मेन वो था कि हम लोग पॉइंट टेबल्स में और जल्दी क्लाइंब हो पाते, हम लोग को फर्स्ट पोजीशन के लिए रेस पे रहते हैं. तो देखते हैं, लास्ट गेम है, चिकन निकालना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है वो रेस पे वापस आने के लिए.
स्काउट, हमारी जब भी बात हुई है, यू नो देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट. हमेशा बहुत अदब से हमने बात की है. समटाइम्स आई हैव गॉट टू आस्क यू दीस टफ क्वेश्चंस. जब आप हिस्सा नहीं थे लाइनअप का बिकॉज यू वर अनवेल, तो उस टाइम पे मेडल की परफॉर्मेंस बहुत कमाल थी, और वो एक सवाल जहन में उठा था दैट जब स्काउट आएंगे, will he be part of the lineup, and वो confirmation मिली that he'll be playing the finals. Does that kind of play on your mind?
नहीं यार, अभी इतने साल से प्रोफेशनली खेल रहे, तो कुछ लोग बोलते हैं, कुछ लोग नहीं बोलते, बट मेन मैटर करता है कि जो प्रोफेशनल्स जो चीज़ बोलते हैं वो चीज़ मैटर करना चाहिए. अब टीम वालों को पता है कैसा होता है गेम के अंदर, क्या सिनेरियो रहता है, डिफरेंट रूल्स क्या होते हैं, तो आई थिंक इसलिए मैं खेल रहा हूँ.
Are you kicked about the fact कि एक मैच अगर आप अच्छा कर जाते हैं, you can directly jump into the top 5?
100%, there's no doubt. हम टॉप 5 के टॉप 3 में घुस जाएंगे अगर, क्योंकि मैंने जितना देखा पॉइंट टेबल्स 20 पॉइंट्स का डिफरेंस है, तो अगर हम लोग को एक चिकन निकलता है तो हम 100% टॉप 3 टॉप 4 में तो एंटर कर लेंगे. तो कल के दिन हम लोग पोडियम का फर्स्ट पोजीशन के लिए हम लोग ट्राई कर सकते हैं.
ब्रदर, बेस्ट ऑफ लक. एक आखिरी मैच बचा हुआ है, क्या स्काउट की टीम वो चिकन डिनर हासिल कर पाएगी जैसा वो कह रहे हैं? विल फाइंड आउट ऑन द अदर साइड ऑफ द ब्रेक.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12GB ramped up, run on all engines upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Look, chat, I don't play games when it comes to gaming chairs. Take this one. Doesn't recline. Makes me want to... Good thing I have an Android. Watch Gemini save the day. This chair is squeaking and won't lean back. What's the fix?
To unlock the seat, pull the tilt lever located below it and adjust it to the desired position. To stop the squeaking, tighten the bolts and spray some lubricant on the joints.
Now this is the seat to beat. Okay, cats, time for some chicken dinners.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born. They practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Where few teams are rising up in the leaderboard, there are few names who are fizzling out and making the biggest mistakes of their life. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to OnePlus Android Battlegrounds Mobile India Master Series Season 4. It's the last Erangel of the day. And after this, only 4 games will remain for tomorrow. So that means total 5 games to lift the trophy in front of our screens.
You've got to try and bring your life back if you want to topple down the ones who are on top. If you want to try and close in the gap with the ones who are standing up on top. And it's this very team which I'm talking about, Team Soul. Never dropping the ball. the defending champions and performing to the perfection right now. They need consistency, and that's going to be what they're hunting right now.
I'm sure they're hunting for the consistency, but a team which was very consistent in the Challengers series and in the semi-finals, Sinewy Esports, seems like they are completely missing themselves in the grand finals. It looks like a completely different Sinewy Esports, not getting those good rotations, not converting those 4v4 fights. And speaking of 4v4 fights, Hero Xtreme Godlike is the one who is missing on to that.
You talked about rotation as well. This team has never even getting the chance to rotate out here right now, constantly taking the fights against REVENANT X SPARK. Godlike has been fizzling out. And you talk about the team that they're fizzling out against, they're up on their screens and they're pretty happy now. Entering the top 3, Shadow, they're one game away from stealing away that first position.
I think everyone just needs one single 30 bomber is enough to propel yourself in the overall ranking. That also make sure that this last Erangel is so important for everyone. Like Scout mentioned, just 20-point difference is what he has, and between the medal team and the top team in the leaderboard. But for now, everyone is just focusing on this one last Erangel.
The plane is already out there in the sky right now, as it will be moving in right away from those western edges, starting from hospital, ending at Sosnovka military base. Now, if you're any team who likes to drop in towards Severny, wink wink, K9 Esports, it's going to be a long journey for you. Yasnaya Polyana, wink wink, versatile. It's going to be very difficult for you out here. It's going to be so problematic out here for so many teams who like to jump exactly at their drop spaces. Now, Shadow, in the first map of Erangel, we saw the drop clash between REVENANT X SPARK and Godlike, just because of a similar kind of plane path.
Yeah.
But this time that's not happening. Godlike is moving up north. Not finally! There's Soul right next to them!
At least there is not REVENANT X SPARK. And if Hero Xtreme Godlike do eliminate the players of Team iQOO Soul, you know iQOO Soul will be denied the points. So that means the buffer, the point difference won't be that much. I know iQOO Soul fans are not happy with my statement. I'm just talking about a factual statement.
Let me make them happy by what you yourself said. If Soul win an early fight,
absolutely.
And if they eliminate Godlike, if they move forward, which, by the way, Godlike are not really big hot shots for. They are not really strong in the drop clashes. That means Soul will have the perfect start, and that's exactly what's happening.
When you drop in few seconds late, you don't get the chance to get those weaponries, because iQOO Soul were the first one to drop in this very same compound, and Goblin with an AUG is already chasing down the players of Team Hero Xtreme Godlike. What's happening? Punk has been knocked out by Goblin.
Out here running wild, Godlike are trying to tug tails and save their life, and it's not being offered to them. Soul are the ones who are eliminating their hopes, eliminating the hopes of over 100,000 people who want to see them lift that trophy. That's not happening right now. Admino, I love the weapon he has. That's the Honey Badger. I know you hate it, but if you're able to control that spray, it can burst down the other side very quickly. It's as good as Uzi out there, but you need to know how to control that spray. But you've got 3 people in front of you, and how the heck does Joker get that elimination? It's all down to gods, and gods need to be the one on top of Olympus to try and save his team.
Johnny is so far away from gods. 2 last members remaining from the side of Hero Xtreme Godlike, and this time when the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike decided to go all the way towards the side of Zarki, we have a complete southern eastern circle where Novorproy, Milta Power are also in the contestation. I'm sure the players of iQOO Soul and Hero Xtreme Godlike are not really happy with that. Actually, iQOO Soul is happy because now they're getting the finished points for themselves, but Hero Xtreme Godlike, they're not really happy. And this time, they didn't go for the drop clash. They avoided it.
The big problem right now is that Punk and the boys took those drop clashes so many times with not just REVENANT X SPARK, with also Mad Kings all the way in the league stages. And it was so chaotic that now wherever they go, there is one to take that fight on against them.
You know, I just want to say one line for the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike.
Say it too.
When it rains, it pours. And that is what is happening with Hero Xtreme Godlike. They didn't want to go for the drop clash. They wanted to go for a safe rotation, which Punk is known for, a slow start. and then after towards the final few stages start going for the aggressive stance. Punk wanted to go back to the drawing board, but it was raining for Hero Xtreme Godlike. Now it's pouring.
Sounds like they're gonna drown more than people of NCR out here. But yeah, things are getting pretty bad for them. A lot of things to be said out there, but I mean, for now, just try and survive. We've also got the members of MyG Los Hermanos trying to take the fights against the members of Sinewy. None of them doing pretty hot out there in the leaderboard. 12th and 13th position respectively with 33 points each. So the gap between them and Seoul is actually pretty high. Not quite sure if they'd be able to target that first position until and unless they get some back-to-back chicken dinners, which we have always talked about. But now, going on the chase against the members of Sinewy, I'm not quite sure if that's the best possible decision for them. There's also Nebula out there. Could eventually find a timing and maybe cast this entire commotion in third party.
And also the plus of Global Esports towards the periphery of the circle. And Infinix Esports towards the side of military base bridge. But looking at the circle, I think RNTX, Orangutan, VXT, Xtreme, these 4 teams are going to find themselves in a very decent spot. This can be a good game for either of them.
But we've always talked about the fact that the teams who are earlier in the circle, specifically the first and second stages, they lack a lot of information. And that is one of the big reasons why they fall in the 5th to 6th stage transition. That happens with Xtreme, that also happens with REVENANT X SPARK. It also happens with OG. We've seen that happen too.
The thing is, REVENANT X SPARK will have to make the rotation, so they won't be lacking on that information. Now the plus of Orangutan are also in the close proximity to them, but look at iQOO, Soul and God still in such a close proximity. But talking about the chase, OG is actually chasing down the plus of RNTX, where Fierce, a guy who did a 1v4 in the previous Sanhok, is the first one to be eliminated from the side of RNTX this time.
I have absolutely no clue why he was separated from the group. It was a 1-3 split, but you don't really have such a far away split.
He was actually going for the vehicle.
Not so far away, not alone.
Could be possible, maybe for the loot or maybe just to have
but
be the anchor of the team just in case the circle takes a eastern shift.
If it either ways takes an eastern shift, everyone could have rotated out there together. But yeah, that's still an awkward decision from RNTX. Eventually punished by the members of OG, but on the other side, MyG Los Hermanos eventually continuing onto their chase right now. It's Nebula onto their crosshairs who eventually move down. But what a knock coming in! Kalan always shows up big time for his team. And they're still firing the shots. Attention being grabbed from the other side though, as Nebula playing a good play with 1-2 punch. MyG Los Hermanos eventually losing their own members as well. A drop shot coming in. Kana answers back perfectly. NoNx hops into this mix as well. They're still trying to take down those members. It's the third party. And a picture perfect one for NoNx, as Kana eliminates all 4 players.
MyG Los Hermanos, big blunders coming in from their side. But we also have got the players of Global Esports coming in for the third party as a spray comes in from the side of Spray God. But seems like NoNx Esports, they're going to try and fall back to the safety. But looks like the players of Global Esports, especially Manya, is going for the chase.
We've always seen this man to chase the other team towards the depths of hell as he's trying to push them apart further down than Lucifer ever went. But he's finally going to stop. No driver out there to drive the vehicle farther than where it eventually went. So he's going to be moving back with his own team right now as the power play is about to end in the next 27 seconds. Manya really wants these power play points.
I have a very cringe joke, but wait a second. We'll come back to that. Global Esports.
Nice
dealing
shot.
with Kana, Manya with a shotgun finally gets a better out of him, and Kalyog is right in front of Manya, and shotgun in his hands, and a perfect connection onto the last player of NoNx Esports. So that means NoNx has been eliminated on the 14th spot. But we also have got a situation between the players of Genesis Esports and the players of True Rippers. Back and forth trades coming in, and Playzone also playing its part because Gravity has been knocked by the Playzone.
Yeah, right now you've got to try and take Jelly down on the other side as the explosions happen on your right. Nothing is going right for the members of Genesis as they still hold on to what's left. Healings, it's got to come in clutch right now because of the boosters. Zap will survive. They actually got a bit of the HP back out there, though. Still, iQOO finishes off Gravity. It's all down to Zap right now, just on his knees. The only man to find any sort of finish. That's what Zap has. But this circle is still doing a fairly decent amount of damage, Shadow. You'd never really expect that to happen. But it doesn't matter as the nade lands in perfectly. And True Rippers, the third-party kings, eventually rip apart the members of Genesis.
Genesis, they were also in the dire need of those points because they are sitting on the 7th spot with just 49 points. And True Rippers getting early 5 finishes, but they also need to prioritize the rotation because so many teams are ahead of them, like the players of Global Esports, Sinewy. So True Rippers, they have to make sure to make those rotations very carefully. But for now, the players of K9 are also looking very promising, and so are the players of Middle Esports. In the map of Sanhok, Middle lost onto the chicken dinner, but now since they are towards a shoreline and towards a bridge of no reply, this can actually be a good game for Middle Esports.
I personally don't like that position, though. I know where you're coming from, so I agree that this could be a good game for them. But yeah, now this spread is actually pretty good. On the map feed where I was watching, I thought maybe they're all clubbed up together, the bridge and maybe under the bridge. So that would have been absolutely horrendous. But right now, I do like the spread coming in from them. They just have to make sure that they're not being caught individually. Because that was the exact problem which they faced yesterday. Now, one of the big questions is, it's going to be for Infinix Esports, Shadow. They're all the way out of the play zone right now. They're going to be moving in from blue. But the big thing is, they can't really rotate down from Ferry Pier Bridge because we know that God's Reign every single time, whenever it's a southern circle, they always camp that part. And their camp is pretty solid. They every single time get at least 1 or 2 players knocked down. And Infinix Esports had faced that in the past. So the only way left for them is going to be to rotate all the way from Western Fray and take the entry from either towards the shorelines, or they can go all the way towards north and enter from shelter. But they don't really have a lot of covers out there, so it's going to be difficult for them to survive.
Seems like survival is a big challenge for the players of Team iQOO Soul at this point, scared, because now they are the one getting knocked out by the play zone. I'm sure they lack on those crucial first aids. And this reminds me, whom did you call Lucifer, by the way, in the game? Few minutes ago?
I mean, I was just giving the reference
of for which team, by the way?
How Global Esports are pushing down
and
the...
Lucifer is the son of God.
Yeah.
What's happening to gods?
Ouch. Barely surviving, bleeding to death all the way.
No one to help Lucifer then.
Up in the George Pearl City. It was eventually
Maybe
Michael.
we should call archangels now.
Yeah, the thing is, it was Michael who eventually pushed down Lucifer in the depths of hell. So, according to my analogy, maybe it's Global Esports that are the archangels. But they are definitely being the villains out here.
And Revenant is the Michael. Let's get back to the game where Sinewy Esports is actually dealing with the plus of Middle Esports. As Scout OP has been eliminated. Middle Esports. What's really happening wrong with this team?
It just seems like, again, that spread, as we were mentioning, right? You mentioned that the spread is pretty good, but it's so far out in the open that even a single knock, it's going to destroy the other side. Again, having a look at what happened against the members of NoNx and MyG Los Hermanos. We've always talked about this, that MyG sees a team, they run it all the way down. That's exactly what they did, and they eventually ran down towards their tent.
By the way, do you know who is the daughter of God?
Go ahead.
Shadow. I'm sure you do understand which series I'm referring to.
Lucifer?
No, not the other one.
We'll have to see. Supernatural?
Yeah.
Alright, fair. I remember that.
Yeah.
Now my memory is...
Now you know why my predictions are always so correct, because now OG are the one who is dealing with the plus of True Rippers as well, where Hydro on a very slow HP is trying to go for the help on his teammates, but seems like Hydro is the one to be eliminated as WizGod marks an end to him. But Jelly at this point has been knocked out, and now they have to go for the revival, but seems like AQOP will mark an end for Jelly as well. 5 finishes, and Kyo Lamau is the only man standing from the side of True Rippers.
Out here, K9 Esports coming in for the third party as well as Kyo eventually gets another one. OG are not just wounded, they are being destroyed instantly because of the third party. As Kyo stands his ground and sends back another member of OG packing home. A massive problem coming in for the A's because this is a fight between the 4th and 5th placing team. Shadow and Soul are still surviving. So the longer they stand, the worse it's going to get for them right now, as it's getting worse for the members of Godlike. They spent an eternity tanking the blue, only to move in the circle and get knocked out by this third party, as K9 would eventually find the last player as well. You see Gods tugging tails and running. That's not really the likes of Godlike out here right now, as they try to go for the survival game. They try to clinch onto their lives for barely some scraps.
Just look at the position where VXT is. Yes, I do understand Hero Xtreme Godlike are having difficulty today. Not just today, yesterday as well. The misery is still continuing towards the last game of day number 2 as well. And now only 4 last games remain tomorrow for Hero Xtreme Godlike to do something. But now VXT, towards the bridge, they are looking in a very promising spot. But they need to deal with the players of RNTX. K9, I love the spread which is coming in from their side. But Slug is so far away from his teammates, it can go either ways. Either Slug can bring that off angle which the opponent won't be anticipating, but if Slug gets taken down, then the problem arises for the players of K9. Yeah. iQOO also left with just few only players. I think Nakul is the only one remaining from their side. But OG, what a domination which they are bringing in this one.
They were, to be honest, I'd have to say, unless they started losing members by K9 and iQOO. That's the bit of a problem coming in. A bit disconnected out there. The third party was unexpected, unanticipated. And you did mention the point about Slug as well being far away from his team. The only thing he was doing was scouting out the area as well. Now he's eventually back up with the boys. And the fun fact was he never stopped his vehicle even once. So even if some shots were fired onto him, I'm pretty sure his zigzag movement of the vehicle would have saved his life out there. But the concern was pretty genuine. We've already seen the sprays coming in from all of these teams, and it's pretty good.
Quick prediction for this one. Quick.
Oh my god, it's so difficult right now. I'm going to say K9.
I'll go with RNTX or VXT. Or maybe Godstraight.
I don't think so. I think so. VXT and RNTX, they themselves are going to be making
that.
Yeah,
and whoever wins that fight, they'll have the complete southern eastern control of the circle, where everyone else is towards a cluster.
The big thing out here is, I do understand where you're coming from. And the big thing about this is, if the circle stays on them, I agree it's going to be pretty good. But if there's even a slight possibility of it moving away and it actually goes, they'd have to take an entire rotation from the eastern fray to basically move themselves back in the circle right now.
Which is empty.
But the thing is, if they move up in front, there's empty space. If they take those eastern rotations, it's still an empty space. So they are going to be visible and there are no solid compounds out there.
In these kind of circles, if the circle goes the north, every IGL will take the complete round the circle rotation all the way to his northern side, where there is pretty much no one, just only one single individual, that is Kiolamau. So I don't think if the circle goes north, that would be a problem for the players of RNTX or VXT.
If it takes a centric shift?
Then also they can go all the way around the circle towards the northern side. Towards the southern western side, yes, that could be a problem.
Exactly.
But in that situation, they can take the shore in control.
I think so the circle is going to move away from shorelines though, but that's exactly what Phoenix are doing right now.
Yeah.
Sitting on the extreme southwestern fray, having that control. VXT as well having that southern control right now. Trey Scott has been knocked out from REVENANT X SPARK. The only thing is that we know RNTX are running with 3-man people right now. VXT have got no clue about that. That is the one big reason why they haven't made their bounce yet. But finally, they're going in for that slam as well. And it's very calculated. Made out perfectly. They've got to clear each and every single room out there of the squad house. But rest of the members of REVENANT X SPARK, they're in a building extremely far back right now. Trace has not been brought back up on his feet. And that's a massive problem, as Trace will fall to the nade of Shadow. And this is just a perfect bounce coming in from the members of VXT. It's an individual 1v3 and an individual 1v1.
Fury is holding on to an off angle. The only big possibility where RNTX can win this fight in their favor is if the players of VXT come out in the open. But I'm sure VXT would be anticipating someone in that very compound where Fury is. But Sensei, even he's holding on to a wooden shack.
Oh my god.
No one knows where
Sarang,
Sensei is.
See it. Sarang, see it. The nade from Fury actually does the job thanks to the information provided by Sensei. That's a big one. And Sarang has been pushed back as well to give that revival.
Yeah.
If one more knock happens out here for VXT, this fight will turn on its head.
Oh no.
Oh, lovely. Fury can find everything right now from this point. Oh, no, my goodness, Fury at the last second now. He's also given the footstep shadow.
And that was the last grenade which Fury had.
Unfortunate.
But versatile, they're not really short on those utils. They do have good amount of grenades and molotovs, but Shadow out in the open, and finally Sensei strikes, but Shadow still surviving, still standing strong.
And if Fury gets knocked out from this play, it's going to be the biggest problem though, but he still stands up for a few seconds as the rest of the member of VXT make that bounce out in the open. Sensei not being able to land in those shots as VXT deny him an individual. And Revenant X SPARK, along with their run in this game, has been stopped at 0 points.
And VXT winning that fight with no casualty at all. But now they need to be a bit careful because shots are being fired towards the side of Ninja Jord, who is trying to traverse inside the circle. Chipped down to a pretty low HP. And yes, the man himself, Lamar, is the one doing all that damage towards Ninja Jord. Nades being lobbed. But Ninja, he doesn't really know how many players are right in front of him. It's only one last lad, Lamar from True Rippers.
That's the only thing right now, right? As soon as VXT will find him out, they eventually do. And get the confirmation as well. True Rippers, they're going to be sent packing home as well. But a pretty decent game for them, I'll have to say, right? Getting those 6 points. All of that for the elimination as well. Maybe a couple of points in the power play. So that is pretty good. But the big problem is, VXT don't really have that southeastern control for free. The area is open. No solid compounds. So they'll have to play for these ridge lines right at the very edge. But they'll still be visible to the members of middle.
26 seconds. 26 seconds. If the players of VXT survive, the circle is going to take a shift and everyone will be focused on their own rotation. So VXT has to stay silent and alive just for the next few seconds. Yes, they are in the periphery of the circle. The smoke cover is there and Shadow has already found a knock onto the players of Sinewy Esports, who are in a 2v2 split towards the center of the circle.
Yeah, that's the thing right now. And the circle takes a massive shift over towards the west. VXT are not going to be happy about this, but K9 will be super happy. And so would be the members of Sinewy and Global Esports. They are the ones who've got the massive chunk of that safe zone. Middle will be gate kept by Sinewy. And they'd also have to take a fight against VXT and the members of Phoenix. So even though these teams are not really close to each other, but they're in each other's crosshair. And it's the open grounds which I've been constantly mentioning.
Here's the thing. If the players of K9 and OG lock horns with each other, there's a very high chance that VXT can go and do a third party in that scenario and have that complete eastern control for themselves. But for now, OG, they are going for the complete northern rotation. Infinix Esports so very close to the players of Global Esports. A vehicle run over towards Mania takes him down. Confirmation point has also been secured by Gordon. What exactly Infinix Esports is doing is Adi retaliates back by taking down not just one, but 2 players from Infinix Esports.
Where is Ash out here when you need him? And guess what? He's out of the lobby right now. A 1-for-3 exchange for Phoenix. Not really a good trade. They also had the hovercraft as well with them, but still not really getting that answer out here as the bounce is now being made by the rest of the members of Xtreme. You get that one knock though, but Spray God, he's all the way far out in front. Troy is also trying to answer back, maybe catch in one more with that one nade, and it's absolute perfection. This man cooks, and this man delivers. God's Reign sent packing home, and that's at the 8th spot now, Shadow. That means the placements will make a difference.
But look at the players of VXT. Now they have the complete southern eastern control of the edge of the circle. The only problem are the players of Metal Esports. What for now, Global Esports and Orangutan are also locking horns with each other. As OG, one of the players has been knocked out. K9 being the silent forces in the lobby. And Global Esports, one after other, they are losing on to their players. All thanks to the players of Sinewy Esports. But Metal and VXT, like I said, Metal is the only problem for VXT. But seems like K9, they are also doing a third party. And VXT slowly and steadily losing on their players.
Oh, the hovercraft out up in front though. Knuckle jumps back into his own vehicle, tries to bait out a few shots. It's almost being blasted to smithereens as Spray God moves out. He falls down. And you could hear and see the frustration on his face. Sinewy fires from the other side as even Soul gets eliminated. We are down to the last 4 teams right now. And I think so. It's going to be a big game for Sinewy.
Could be for the players of Middle as well. And for K9 as well, as they are going for the chase towards the side of OG Orangutan in such a peculiar spot. A vehicle run over and Orangutan, they have been eliminated. Top 3 teams, K9 Esports, Sinewy and Medal. K9 and Sinewy, they have all the 4 players alive and Medal. They have been reduced to 3 men. It's possible for either of these teams because Vishu, if you notice, he's towards the center spot. K9, they have a very good spread towards the northern part of the circle. Medal, they have a southern compound for themselves, and if the circle takes a southern shift, this is going to be a game for Medal Esports.
You mentioned about the southern shift. The circle takes a northwestern shift. No. It falls down right into the laps of Sinewy, and they've got all the control that they need of the entire western fray of the circle. It's not just about the southern-northern fray as well. It's the entire western hemisphere. Medal will be taking the rotation all the way towards those western frays, but that's where Moksha and Rexboy are. So they can gatekeep the members of Medal. That's exactly what's happening right now. But the big thing is Medal will have the advantage in this fight. 3 players for them against 2 players of Sinewy. And K9 will eventually wait for a perfect third party. It's that same trifecta which you always talk about, Shadow. The 2 teams who lock on first will eventually lose, and the team that has the patience will win.
Quick prediction once again.
Sinewy.
K9.
I absolutely agree. That could be a possibility because Medal will take the fight with Sinewy, and that will give K9 the best chance to go for the third party.
Highly possible. But for now, even Ninja of Sinewy Esports is aware about the position where the players of K9 are.
The only reason I've said Sinewy is because if they hold on for a little bit longer, then the stage 8 shift of the circle will still keep them in the center or at least towards the edge. And there would be a big chance that it moves away from K9. And that would force them to move out in the open right now though. Sinewy, 2 of the members, they are out in the open and they are losing themselves. The nades being fired off in their direction as Medal will also lose a couple of members out there as they still find those knocks. Lovely anticipation. And this is exactly what we were talking about as now Omega has called in his members to go for the third party.
K9, this is the perfect moment to strike, and they are striking as Aimbot is going for the revival towards Venom. But in the meanwhile, Termi has to go for the scouting, has to collect the information, has to create few distractions for the players of K9 and Sinewy Esports. But K9, Slug gets confirmation point onto Rexboy as well. So that means Sinewy, they have been reduced to only 2 last members. And K9, they are not really short on those utils because they were the silent one throughout the game.
Sinewy had to take one fight instantly. They just sent a couple of members hoping that they'd be able to hold their ground, but that's not happening right now as the circle still takes a western shift. The compound still in contention. Middle are the ones who are going to face some problems, Shadow, out there in the open. They'll have to make their rotations as Slug will try to cut them off. And the rest of the cavalry of K9 will eventually try to move on to those compounds. If Sinewy find the first knock, then they can find that advantage.
They most certainly can, but for now, nades being exchanged by the players of K9 and Sinewy Esports as Ninja is trying to defend his compound, but for now, he has to fall back and regroup with his own teammate. A single grenade can mark an end for the entire team of Sinewy Esports. That's something which they have to make sure, and Vishu is trying with his tooth and nail to get at least one opening knock, and finally onto Ninja Boy. He gets one.
Sends out the Molotov as well though, but Ninja moves up to safety. So it's going to be brought back up on his feet as well without any major problems. And during all this commotion, Medal are also making their way. Sinewy are being pressured from multiple directions as the players move in though, but still, Aimbot is the first one to fall. Sinewy are still standing strong through the smoke though, the pump shotgun out in the hands and they get the knock. Sinewy hold their ground, but not for long as K9 find the perfect third party and they're also stealing away those finishes.
They most certainly are. Medal, they are wounded, and Sinewy Esports, they have been eliminated. It's only Termi remaining in a 1v4 situation. K9 Esports, they have rectified all the mistakes, and now, once again, they get a winner-winner chicken dinner for themselves. Finally, Omega, Ninja Boy, Slug, Veron, stepping up majorly.
Big one, which was needed from their side. But a massive fall from Sinewy. This could happen their game. Medal as well wanted to find their own opportunity, and they eventually got to the second place. And it's absolutely fine there right now, Shadow, because they're finally finding that consistency as well, which we've been talking about. But some big names out there losing onto that. REVENANT X SPARK, God's Reign, Orangutan, all of them dropping the ball, including True Rippers. Now that means this lead of K9 is going to be pretty big to be covered in just one game.
100% the way Beast, Slug, Ninja Boy, Omega maintain that consistency. Good rotations are coming in, all thanks to Omega, and the boys are sticking together. They're not giving individual fights. But Medal, they need to rectify those mistakes now.
There's been a couple of games out there where they could have got something, but this one was still a bit more difficult, so I'm going to give them I'm going to cut them some slack. It's absolutely fine. But all the way over towards the end, perfect call coming in from Omega, and perfect retaliation from the rest of the members as well. Be it Slug, be it Beast, be it Ninja Boy out there, ladies and gentlemen. Big names out who are standing on the stage with Serene, ready to answer some of the questions.
एक ही फिल्म कोई बार बार क्यों देखना चाहता है ना? हमने कल भी वो फिल्म देखी जब K9 ने 2 बैक टू बैक चिकन डिनर निकाले और उन्होंने दिन जो है वो बहुत अच्छी पोजीशन में खत्म किया था, नंबर 1. आज भी कुछ वैसा ही हो रहा है, लेकिन तुम तो बिल्कुल कंप्लेन नहीं कर रहे होगे क्योंकि you guys are once again at the end of day 2 on number 1.
तो अभी मतलब ऐसी इससे पहले हमारे 3 मैच में 14 पॉइंट्स जीते आई गेस, तो पूरा ऐसा स्ट्रेस हो गया था कि भाई क्या कर रहे हो, लेट्स गो, एक मैच चिकन मारते हैं लास्ट एंड वापस पॉइंट्स टेबल में एकदम टॉप पे रहते हैं. और फिर कल का दिन हमें अच्छा ही खेलना है, डिसेंट अपना जो नेचुरल गेम प्लान होपफुली बहुत सुंदर है भाई चाहिए.
बहुत सुंदर है भाई, बहुत सुंदर है. अब देखो ओमेगा कल आया था. ओमेगा के साथ क्या होता है कि ओमेगा IGL है, बहुत सभ्य तरीके से सोच समझ के जवाब देता है. और मैं बस ये जानना चाहता हूँ, क्या तुम्हें बोला था कि अभी देखो जिस तरीके से गेम में हो, यहाँ पे उड़ना नहीं है, काम रहना है.
काम वाला भी था, बट हमारे 3 मैच थे थोड़ा बेकार ही गए थे. तो अभी हमें ये था कि ओमेगा भाई ने बोल रखा था कि जो दिखेगा उसको मारना है, जहां बोलूंगा बस वहां मार देना, बाकी मैं देख लूंगा.
ट्रॉफी की तुमने बात वैसे छेड़ दी है, ठीक है. अब पहला दिन तुमने टॉप स्पॉट पे खत्म किया, 2 चिकन डिनर निकाले, आज तीसरा आ गया, फिर से तुम टॉप स्पॉट पे खत्म कर रहे हो. सच बताओ, अब 2 दिन तो हो गया है, 1 दिन और अगर 1 दिन आपने फिर से टॉप स्पॉट पे खत्म कर ली, वही टॉप स्पॉट मैटर करेगी क्योंकि वो आपको ट्रॉफी के पास ले जाएगी.
हाँ वो वाली चीज़ तो है, क्योंकि हम लोग ऐसे टीम, हम तीनों तो ओमेगा भाई तो चलो फिर भी अभी हमारे नेक्स्ट IGL, बाकी हम लोग स्टार्टिंग से तीनों है, तो मतलब हमने इतने लैंड पोडियम्स मार दिए है ना पिछले कुछ टाइम में, बट विन आते आते हमसे बस रह जाती है कुछ टाइम पे, ऐसा आते आते रह जाती है. बट ऐसा हुआ था कि कभी हमने डे 1 डे 2 पे कभी ऐसा इतना अच्छा नहीं खेला था, हमेशा हम डे 3 पे कम बैक करके ऐसा पोडियम वगैरह लेते थे. बट इस बार बहुत अच्छा हम लोग सिंक वगैरह बैठा है हमारा. हमने अभी इस टूर्नामेंट से जस्ट पहले हमने कोच भी लिए थे, अमित भाई, यू नो सोल अमित तो उनको लिया था और काफ़ी वो चीज़ हेल्प कर रही है अभी हम स्ट्रेटजी वाइज में. तो आज और कल का दिन तो बहुत अच्छा गया, जैसा हमने सोचा था वैसे ही. आज का फर्स्ट 3 मैचेस वैसे नहीं थे, बट लास्ट मैच आते आते हमने वापस कवर कर लिया एंड होपफुली कल हो जाए ये सपना सच, बाकी देखते क्या रहता है.
किसी विद्वान आदमी ने कहा है ना, या तो विन है, छोड़ो आगे की बात रहने देते हैं. स्लग एंड बी सो हैप्पी फॉर दीज गाइस. लगातार दूसरे दिन K9 एंड अप ऑन द टॉप स्पॉट. वापस लौटेंगे बस थोड़ी देर में.
R is for RAM on roids. A 12 gigabyte ramped up, run on all engines, upgraded in a world resigned to 8 gig. Ridiculously ripped. Raise the stakes with a ruthless dozen. Ready to raid. Write faster, roll smoother. Reach higher with a refuse to die battery. Every app, every activity. Rep, 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 rep. If it's in your radius, R keeps it on rotation. OnePlus 13R. R is ours.
Okay, so let's say you find this little number in a loot box. Before you slay the competition, slay the fit. Here, get ready with me. Press the power button on your Android to activate Gemini and ask for styling tips. How do I style this jacket for a casual look?
For a casual look, pair this jacket with jeans and a white, black or grey t-shirt. Complete the outfit with either boots for a rugged vibe or clean sneakers for a modern, relaxed feel.
Boom! Conquer coded outerwear. May you slay in style.
Only on Android.
TVS Raider, the wicked ride.
Real MVPs are not born, they practice every day. For OP moves on the field and in life.
Duolingo English Test. Proud supporters of dreamers and doers.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Unlock BGMI's new gold spin starting at just 10 UC. Limited time offer on Google Play.
Red Bull gives you wings.
It's not the day one of Grand Finals, but the film is getting repeated on day 2 of the Grand Finals as well. Okay, because K9 once again getting a chicken dinner. And if I'm not wrong, maybe they are the table toppers now.
I mean, that's exactly what Surain mentioned as
Yeah.
well. So it's pretty solid that they will be the table toppers right now. And that consistency is what they need. And I'm pretty sure they're getting that consistency because of the Bisleri water, which they've been drinking up, ladies and gentlemen. If you really want that same consistency as well, make sure you drink up that Bisleri water. Now, coming back to the conversation as well, Shadow, because yes, they would need to keep their calm. They need to keep their nerves under control because something similar was happening in another event right in the beginning of this year where they dropped the ball in the last game of the very last day.
Hey, every tournament has this story. Towards the last day, there are some bullseye target behind the backs of the teams who are the table toppers or the potential contenders for the trophy. So it is going to happen tomorrow. But K9, they need to keep their calm and composure because if you notice, K9 was one of those teams which was struggling to get even a single chicken dinner in the league place. And now they're getting every day.
What if it's going to be the members of Godlike who eventually try and find the members of K9 out there, right? Because they aren't winning anything out here right now, let's be honest. I know you didn't say it, but out here, if Beast keeps on performing like this, then it doesn't matter who show up to target them. They will eventually be met with death and destruction. 6 finishes coming in for the man with 50% finish contribution. Pretty easy math out there. 12 finishes coming in for K9. Very consistent game from them.
Of course, and Beast is the guy who was going all out with 6 finishes and 0 knocks. Sarang is the guy from VXT, the best companion with 3 rescues, and Omega is the finisher because he was the one to deal with the last player of the opponent team. 3 finishes and 1 assist. The IGLs are stepping up. I'm so happy to see that, be it Venom or Omega or Destro. Even Destro is having too many finishes in the entire roster of Xtreme.
Leading by example is what these IGLs are setting up right now, and they really need to. Because as we have a look at the OnePlus Never Settle moments, if players like Kanha perform like this, then yeah, your team's IGL would need to step up as well. Some big performances, some big words being said out there. And they're backing them up as well, Shadow. But some questionable decisions coming in from Spray God out here, and you can clearly see Manya being disappointed as well with the move that was eventually made. Soul, happy, they don't care, they're in the top 2, they're absolutely fine. Just one good game and they'll be propelling themselves back up, and K9 will make sure that that doesn't happen with these kinds of performances.
Of course, K9 pretty consistent towards the grand finals. Yesterday also 2 chicken dinners, and today in the last game once again getting a chicken dinner. But Medal also came so very close to of getting a chicken dinner for themselves in the map of Sanhok. But at least the consistency is there from their side. But now looking at the match ranking, it is going to be K9 on the top with 22 total points. Global Esports, just because of the finish points, the power play, total 14 points towards their name.
Sinewy as well, rocking the charts in the 3rd place on these match rankings out there with 11. OG, Middle, Soul, NoNx, all of them close by between 11 and 8 points out there. I'm pretty sure they're going to be happy, but VXT, Genesis, and every other team out here down right now, yeah, they're not going to be happy. REVENANT X SPARK, 0 points. Nebula as well, 0 points. Let's not even talk about Godlike right now, because this has become their own consistency with 0 points in every other game.
I mentioned 100 points for iQOO Soul, but seems like K9 are the one who are actually eyeing for that 100 mark. They are sitting at 87 points, 5 bonus points, and they have got the highest finishes as well and highest chicken dinner as well.
It's only Soul that can actually contest K9 out here in one game. If you really think about it, OG are 66 points. That means 21 points behind. Means a one full game with a chicken dinner and 11 finishes is what it takes them to cover the gap with K9. And every single point K9 takes out there, that means it's going to propel them up even further in the rankings. So I'm pretty sure that this grand finals would be between K9 and Soul.
But look at the bottom of the leaderboard. Some big names are there. I'm talking about the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike, a team which was looking so powerful and dominating in the semi-finals and before that in the league stages as well. 24 points. Just 6 position points. So that means survival is a very big problem for the players of Hero Xtreme Godlike now.
They're just facing a lot of problems, and let's be honest, now they don't really have a chance at lifting the trophy. Before we started the grand finals, I still remember that there was the interview with Goblin and Jonathan as well, and we were discussing about the same thing, as how this could be that one tournament where Godlike finally break the curse and lift the trophy. But it seems like that curse is still going to stay up, regardless of Admino being in the list of the TVS most wicked player raider list.
One day still remain. 4 games still remain. There is a possibility of Hero Xtreme Godlike also propelling themselves in the overall ranking, because let's not forget the power play is also there. Every finish which you get in the power play, that means extra points you get, and there is a very high chance that you can also be the table topper.
It's the big thing, Shadow. Hunters still on top, Legit still on top. Genesis are not really performing out there because 40% of the contribution is from Hunters. Rest of the players contributing to 60%. It's still not enough right now. For the rest of the members as well, Ninja Boy finally stepping things up. It's a big thing for K9 because one of the most reliable performers who has gone through all the trials and has upgraded his wicket skills, just like the wicket upgrade from the Raider iQOO, which brings you the segment's first GTT digital cluster with 85 plus connected features, best in class stock, and now in 9 feature killer colors out there. That clearly showcases you the skills of Ninja Boy as well as he sits on that bike, Shadow. But coming back onto that discussion, K9 performing pretty good with that consistency, regardless of their one player being in that top 10 list. That's a big statement.
Of course, that's a big statement, but Hero Xtreme Godlike right now, they are on the 16th spot. Even the players of Nebula, a team which came from the Challengers series, Adi made such a big statement, but seems like the performance which he wanted to deliver in the grand finals is not really there. Same goes for Infinix Esports. They were struggling in the league stages. They were performing in the playoffs and the semi-finals, but seems like back to square one for Phoenix as well.
They're facing a lot of struggles out there, but there's some players who are not facing any struggles as we have a look at the TVS Raider MVP rankings. Now, this is different from overall, right? It's only for the finals out here right now. You've got different weightages of different finishes, be it the power play, be it overall finishes, and Hydro is the man who's on top with 16 finishes and 8.53% of MVP rating out there right now. As we have a look at the Swiggy 99 finishes, ladies and gentlemen, 61 times we've already reached the 99 finishes mark. 6,158 total number of finishes with a total match of 104. And what does that offer you? Shadow, it's going to be that one QR code that gives you an exclusive 99 rupees off coupon on Swiggy 99 store. It's only for limited times. Make sure you grab that.
That's your OnePlus and that's a QR code. You can scan and offer me some good burgers. Never mind, we'll just focus on the max finishes because this time Genesis Hunters is the guy with a blue cap with 109 finishes, legit on the second with 106 finishes.
Red Bull Max finishes out there. Hunter, the man who says a lot of things out there on the mic. You know what? I think so it's about time to offer him that mic as well to say some few more words.
Red Bull Max takedown, वो खिलाड़ी जिसके सबसे ज़्यादा finishes हैं, and that goes to Hunters of Genesis. Hunters, यार congratulations बोलने का full मन है, but how do you feel? अपने emotions जो है वो ज़रा बताओ, share करो, because आपकी team जो है वो थोड़ा middle of the pack है. I think 8th या 9th spot पे, 8th spot पे है, लेकिन team जो है वो underperform कर रही है, आप overperform कर रहे हैं.
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, मतलब थोड़ा confidence down लग रहा है सबका और फाइट्स में ही थोड़ी दिक्कत हो रही है. बाकी जोन वोन में तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं हो रही, सिर्फ फाइट्स में ही हो रही है और वही हम लोग को कॉस्ट कर रहा है.
देखिए आप बहुत ही अग्रेसिव खेलते हैं और जितना हमने देखा है, देखो मेरे लिए आसान है ये सिर्फ पूछना कि क्या दिक्कत हो रही है, बट एज अ प्लेयर जब आप एनालाइज करते हैं और देखते हैं कि मैच दर मैच जो ये परफॉर्मेंस आ रही है जिसकी वजह से आप 8th पोजीशन पे हैं, तो क्या जवाब भी उतना ही आसान है जितना मेरा सवाल है?
नहीं इतना तो नहीं है, पर कल लास्ट दिन है और लीड भी मतलब 60-70 की अभी हो गई है, तो मतलब 4 मैच में हम लोग को कम से कम 60-70 पॉइंट्स ये रह गए और ऊपर से मतलब इतना कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. 1% है चांस जीतने का, लेकिन वो भी इनफ है, शायद हो सकता है, किसको पता क्या हो सकता है.
अगर आप ट्रॉफी नहीं जीतते हैं, क्योंकि आप कह रहे हैं कि 1% और 1% पे दुनिया कायम है, लेकिन अगर आप ट्रॉफी नहीं जीतते हैं, द कॉन्वर्सेशन इज दैट यू आर वन ऑफ द बेस्ट प्लेयर्स दैट वी हैव सीन. शायद MVP की लिस्ट में भी आपका नाम जो है एज अ कंटेंडर होगा. क्या उस MVP के खिताब से आप खुश होंगे अगर ट्रॉफी हाथ ना मिली?
नहीं ऐसे तो नहीं है, ट्रॉफी ज़्यादा मैटर करती है, क्योंकि एंड ऑफ द डे ट्रॉफी ज़्यादा मैटर करती है. तो फिर MVP बन के मैं क्या करूँगा अगर ट्रॉफी नहीं मिल रही? तो
नजर रहेगी जेनेसिस पे, नजर रहेगी हंटर्स पे. थैंक यू सो मच बडी फॉर ज्वाइनिंग अस. एक और दिन आज K9 ने फिर से आखिरी मैच में चिकन डिनर लेके वो नंबर 1 स्पॉट जो है वो हासिल कर ली है. बट लाइक आई सेड, सिर्फ एक और बार नंबर 1 पे रहना है, क्योंकि उसके बाद वो ट्रॉफी जो है वो उनकी हो सकती है. कांट वेट फॉर द फाइनल डे ऑफ एक्शन इन द BGMS सीजन 4 फाइनल्स. जुड़िएगा हमारे साथ कल शाम 5 बजे. इट्स गोना बी अ रोलर कोस्टर, इट्स गोना बी अ ब्लॉकबस्टर. विल सी यू देन.